Chapter 199. It was a gigantic mountain. The entire mountain peak resembled a gigantic skull. It was said that this mountain peak was the almighty being's cave mansion, Black Evil Cave Mansion. This Black Evil Cave Mansion seemed to be a treasure. When the almighty being casted a technique, the cave mansion would come alive and transform into a gigantic evil spirit skeleton to fight for the almighty being. The cave mansion was the skull of the evil spirit skeleton, and its body was underground. The middle-aged man was called Chang Xie. There was not much information about him, but without question, he was currently in dire straits. He prepared a cloak that was emitting evil qi for Su Yun. The two of them pulled down the cloak and lowered their heads as they entered the cave mansion. The interior of the cave was extremely spacious, and it was surrounded by pitch-black rock walls. There were skull-shaped lamps hanging on the rock walls, and a large number of blood-red or pitch-black runes were engraved on the rock walls. Inside the grooves, there were hideous and terrifying evil arrays. Some of the evil arrays were made of corpses, and they looked extremely horrifying. Some evil arrays were made of huge human faces, and they looked indescribably horrifying. Here, Su Yin finally saw the evil realm people that ruled the entire evil realm. Most of them were in human form, their entire bodies overflowing with evil qi. Some of their lower bodies were spirit bodies, some of their faces were void, only their eyes had no facial features. Many of them had black skin, and some of them had blood-red tattoos on their skin. Every single one of them had extremely cold qi. Their eyes were empty, filled with dense, evil qi. Don't stare at the strong cultivators. Once you attract their attention and anger them, we'll be in trouble. Although we can coexist peacefully in this Black Evil Cave Mansion. Once we leave the Black Evil Cave Mansion, the situation will be different. Chang Xie whispered to Su Yun, then quickly walked forward. Su Yun anxiously followed. Suddenly, the evil realm people in the grooves all ran out of the array. All of them looked terrified. They respectfully stood at the two sides of the main path of the cave mansion. Then, they all lowered their heads and muttered something. "Quickly lower your heads, people!" Just then, Chang Xie, who was walking in front, shouted anxiously. Then, like the rest, he lowered his head and muttered something. Su Yin did not understand, but seeing that the evil realm people were terrified, he did not hesitate. He stood beside Chang Xie and lowered his head. He had the heavenly scale divine eye as a cover, and was not afraid that his special aura would leak out. It was easy for him to blend in. The entrance of the cave immediately became extremely quiet. Almost all the evil people ran out. Everyone's actions were extremely sincere, as though they were welcoming some important person, as though a god was about to arrive. Su Yun's heart was filled with suspicion, but he did not dare to look. He only felt that at this moment, waves of bone-piercing cold qi floated over. Following that, a large number of pitch-black spirits flew across the sky. They let out sobbing sounds, revealing sinister human faces, shuttling through the air, and then a black rhinoceros-shaped evil beast with a large amount of evil qi floated over slowly. The demonic beast was huge, but the person sitting on it was even bigger, like a small giant. This person's entire body was pitch black, like a ghost. He was covered in a black robe, and there were many eyes printed on the robe. The eyes were constantly blinking, as if he was observing everything around him. Everyone held their breaths and did not dare to make a single sound. Only when the almighty being walked over did the evil realm people straighten their backs and return to their respective formations. This strong cultivator is called Thousand-Eyed Evil Lord, and is already at the 9th stage of the spirit soul realm. I heard that he is already serving the almighty being of the Black Evil Cave Mansion as his master, and is guarding the plains outside the cave mansion. Chang Xie said. Su Yun was startled. Guarding the plains outside the cave mansion? Isn't that guarding the door? But in the next second, Chang Xie hurriedly covered his mouth, his face anxious. "Human, are you looking for death? You dare to speak rudely." Thousand-Eyed Evil Lord's cultivation is high, and his hearing is extremely sharp. Once he hears what you said, you're finished. He will not kill you, but he will refine your body, gouge out your eyes, and imprint them on his robe. He wants you to be used by him. Here, do not say such words again, or else you and I will both die. The strong can casually kill and devour the weak. This is the rule of the evil realm. Don't you know that? Chung Xie growled. Obviously, he was shocked by Su Yun's words. Hearing that, Su Yun nodded his head and did not say anything. But his heart was still shaken. A ninth-stage spirit soul realm cultivator was only used to guard the door? Then, what was the cultivation of the master of the black evil cave mansion? Very quickly, Chung Xie found an evil realm person that he knew. The two of them conversed in the evil language, and Chung Xie took out the black fruit with a human face that he plucked from the tree and gave it to the evil realm person. The evil realm person checked it, nodded his head, and gave another black bag to Chung Xie. Not knowing why, Su Yun saw that Chung Xie's face was extremely sorrowful under the cloak. His eyes were filled with evil qi as he looked at the fruit, and the human face fruit that was given to the evil realm person also had a reaction. He could see that the human face fruit's face was distorted, and its eyes were actually tearing up. "Let's go," Chung Xie said to Su Yun with a hoarse voice. Su Yun nodded, turned, and left the eerie black evil cave mansion with Chung Xie. On the way, Chung Xie, what fruit did you give to that evil realm person? You don't have to care about that. Chung Xie said, other than that, you are not allowed to touch those fruits because in the entire evil realm, other than me, if anyone tries to pluck those fruits, the fruits will immediately turn into smoke and disappear. So special? Very quickly, the two of them returned to the soulless forest. Chung Xie threw the small bag to Su Yun and said, absorb it, and I will teach you the basics of using and generating evil qi. Rascal, if you don't cultivate evil qi, you will not be able to enter the shrine of evil spirits. Time is limited, we have to act quickly. Chung Xie said, my eyes are powerful. The moment I saw you, I knew that your talent was not simple. You are much more powerful than the few people I met before. Although the heavenly scale divine, I could conceal cultivation and qi, it could not conceal talent. For people like Chung Xie who had sharp eyes, although he could not see Su Yun's cultivation, he could easily tell that Su Yun was many times more talented. Su Yun did not say anything, took out the bag, and took out the things inside. Inside were all black substances. Some were like meat, some were like rocks, and some were like wood. They were all strange and motley, and Su Yun had never seen any of them before. What are these things? These are materials used to transform meridians. Once you eat them, they will get close to your qi meridians and automatically produce a substance to integrate your qi meridians, allowing your qi meridians to adapt to the flow of evil spirit qi. Oh, Su Yun's eyes flashed and nodded. It's too smelly here, I don't have much appetite. I'll go over there to eat. With that, he carried the bag and left. Chung Xie squinted his eyes and looked at Su Yun, but did not say anything. After half a day, Su Yun finally returned. His lips were black, and his eyes were overflowing with evil qi. He looked extremely demonic. What made people feel even more mysterious was that around him, there was a black whirlwind, releasing a chill. Evil force. Su Yun fiercely exhaled. The materials that Chung Xie gave him were all good treasures. All of these materials were used to strengthen his foundation. After absorbing them, not only did the qi meridians in his body strengthen, even the evil spirit essences in his body were strengthened. A portion of the evil spirit essences had already opened up a little and could automatically produce evil force. You finished absorbing them? Seeing that Su Yun came out so quickly, Chung Xie was obviously shocked. What should I do next? Su Yun asked. Soak in the evil spring and circulate the evil heart arts in the spring. Let your body produce evil spirit essences and let the evil spirit essences form quickly, turning you into a half-human, half-evil existence. When your body produces 100 evil spirit essences, you can enter the shrine of evil spirits. Of course, these 100 evil spirit essences can also provide you with stronger profound spirit qi. Although these profound spirit qi are all evil spirit qi, their power is not to be underestimated. Human, Not only can you return to your realm, but you can also increase your strength. This is the best of both worlds. I understand. Suyun's expression did not change, but his heart was overjoyed. Just 100 evil spirit essences? With the help of the Monarch occult force, even 1,000 evil spirit essences would not be a problem. The growth of evil force was equivalent to the growth of profound spirit chi and the improvement of cultivation. Then I'll start now. Follow me. I'll bring you into the spring and then teach you the chant of the evil heart arts. Chang Xie said, and then led Su Yun to the side of the forest. There was a 3-meter wide pitch-black spring. The spring water was filled with evil chi, and from time to time, there would be bubbles coming out like a black pond. Su Yun took off the cloak on his body and walked in. You're completely submerged. You can breathe in the evil spring. Chang Xie, who was standing beside the evil spring, said. Su Yun did not dare hesitate and went straight in. For revenge, he had even become a demon. Now, for strength, to return to Sky Marshall Continent, and to see the people he wanted to see, why not become a demon? Seeing Su Yun's entire body submerged into the evil spring, Chang Xie nodded his head in satisfaction and then said, Calm your heart, clear your mind. The evil is Yin. Yang is the support. 5 hearts facing the sky. Wait for your body to turn into ice. Chang Xie's chant entered Su Yun's ears, who was inside the evil spring. After Su Yun heard it, he started chanting according to the chant. His talent was originally high, and he had some understanding of secret techniques. Adding the help of the everlasting stone, he quickly became familiar with the basics of the evil heart arts. Chang Xie's goal was to use the evil spring to produce evil spirit essences for Su Yun, but he did not know that Su Yun's body had already produced a large number of evil spirit essences with a monarch occult force, and the current evil spring was only helping Su Yun to produce the young evil spirit essences, allowing them to grow stronger and stronger. When you enter the evil heart arts to cultivate, stay in the evil spring for 8 hours every day, and for the rest of the time, you cannot be lazy. The evil spirit essences need to be trained, and the easiest way to train them is to produce evil spirit chi. So you need to consume the evil spirit chi in your body and train your own mystical techniques. Chang Xie said. Su Yun, who was out of the evil spring, heaved a sigh of relief. At the moment, his entire body was drenched in the pitch-black spring water. His face was pale white, and his eyes were filled with black light. Chang Xie, since you know so many cultivation techniques, you don't look like a mere 10th-level spirit novice disciple. Why don't you cultivate yourself? Me? Chang Xie was startled for a while, then laughed out loud. I can no longer cultivate in this life. I'm already a cripple. Cripple? Yes. I used to be an expert of the spirit star realm, but I was crippled by an even stronger existence, and my talent was reduced to less than 10%. No matter how I cultivate, I can't improve at all. Chang Xie said till here, and did not say anything else. Hearing that, Su Yun had a plan. From what he said, Chang Xie seemed to have something in his heart. He was an evil realm being with a story, so he had to be careful and not be used by him. Chapter 200. So, the 1,000 deep sword danced quickly in air. Another slender green sword danced along with it, shuttling through the pitch-black sky. Engraved dragon blade. After experiencing the previous destruction, it had finally awakened. Su Yun stood beside the evil spring and quickly activated the profound spirit chi in his body. The 7 attributed profound spirit chi was like a rainbow attached to the sword body and wantonly swept out. The 1,000 deep sword and engraved dragon blade were not strong, but with the support of the special profound spirit chi, they became even more extraordinary, and their power was extremely strong. In this period of time, he was either cultivating or soaking in the spring. Chang Xie was responsible for all the things he needed to cultivate and to fill his stomach. Although the things he needed to fill his stomach were all rotten meat, it was good enough to have something to eat. A month's time passed in the blink of an eye. With the help of the evil spring and monarch occult force, the number of evil spirit essences in his body had already reached 400, and 100 of them had already formed and started to produce evil spirit chi. His chi channels also started to expand, his power increased, and he immediately stepped into the spirit core disciple realm. In fact, Su Yun was currently able to quickly enter the spirit soul disciple realm. The everlasting stone had helped him a lot in the early stages of cultivation, but because of Qing Air's matter, Su Yun did not rest at all and spent very little time on cultivation. But now, he could finally settle down and cultivate properly. After stepping into the first stage of the spirit core disciple realm, Su Yun's evil chi became stronger. He felt that his body was full for a while, and then it disappeared, as though he was advancing towards the second stage. Ordinary people would need at least a year to enter the second stage from the first stage of the spirit core disciple realm. But with Su Yun's treasures and the support of the treasures, how could his cultivation not improve by leaps and bounds? Cheng Xia nodded his head. He naturally could not find fault with Su Yun, but looking at the two flying swords in the sky, Cheng Xia's black face revealed a tinge of regret. What technique is this? The Imperial Sword Technique. Su Yun casually said, I have seen Imperial swordsmen before, but the stronger ones can only control one sword, but you can control two flying swords so easily. Seems like you're not simple. Su Yun did not say anything. Cheng Xia laughed. His gaze landed on the pitch-black sword in front of Su Yun, his eyes revealing a trace of confusion. This sheathed sword gives me a very familiar feeling. Why don't you use it? Once it appears, it will definitely kill someone. Otherwise, it will not stop. Thus, I will not use it to practice my sword. Even if I do, I will not unsheath it. What a demonic sword. Cheng Xia looked at the death sword and extended his hand out wanting to touch it. But just as his fingers were about to touch it, he could not help but retract his hand and asked, Where did you get this sword from? I picked it up. Su Yun lied. Cheng Xia was stunned, but did not ask any further. Time slowly passed. The number of evil spirit essences in Su Yun's body increased, and the evil spirit chi became stronger and stronger, causing him to feel that his body was extremely cold, as though his blood had congealed, and his mind would always be filled with thoughts of killing and destruction. Was this the side effect of cultivating the evil spirit's aura? Su Yun did not know, but the good news was that his cultivation had improved a lot in this period of time. Because of the sudden increase in his evil spirit essence, his profound spirit chi was abundant. He had directly stepped into the second stage of the spirit core disciple and was on his way to the third stage. Such a cultivation speed was truly unheard of. On this day, after coming out from the evil spring, Su Yun went to his temporary training grounds. It was an empty space above the evil spring. The empty space was surrounded by trees, and the ground was filled with broken leaves. He found a large number of tree branches, threw them on the ground, and started to try controlling the tree branches. There were more than 100 branches, and the profound spirit chi in his body was like a spider spitting out silk threads, coiling around the tree branches. So the silk threads quickly wrapped around him, and all the tree branches flew out. More than 100 of them flew together, and they quickly revolved around Su Yun's body, transforming into a storm. They spun quickly, as though they were about to create a tornado. The tree branches were extremely easy to control. Even if he changed the tree branches into long swords, he should still be able to control them. From the looks of it, the first sword of the limitless sword arts was more or less mastered, and the next step was the training of the second sword, controlling 1,000 swords. The 1,000 swords attacking like a rain of swords, like a huge wave, covering the sky and covering the earth. The enemy would definitely have nowhere to run. Just imagining the grand scene, his heart was surging. Su Yun found more tree branches and instigated all the profound spirit chi in his body. His fundamental spirit essences, earth spirit essences, and evil spirit essences were all activated, and his chi channels were activated crazily. A large amount of chi leaked out and coiled around the tree branches. The tree branches all flew in the air and scattered everywhere. The tree branches that were wrapped with profound spirit chi were as sharp as knives and easily chopped down the surrounding trees. A total of 198. That means my current limit is to control 198 flying swords. After a while, Su Yun felt that he had reached his limit. He held onto the 1,000-deep sword with one hand and panted heavily. It seemed like he still had a long way to go before he could master the second sword. The foundation of the limitless sword arts was based on the thickness and familiarity of the profound spirit qi. Other than that, it was the sword arts that emphasized on heart and qi as one, heart and sword as one. To achieve heart and qi as one, it meant that the profound spirit qi had already reached a stage where the heart could produce qi, and the heart and sword as one was achieved through the heart and qi as one. The heart and qi as one. The qi to control the sword, and the heart and sword as one. If the heart and sword as one were already extremely proficient, then the flying swords would naturally be able to move freely. And to control a large number of flying swords, one needed to train in the sword concept. The concept of a sword was not something that could be achieved in a day. It required a long period of practice. Su Yun found a large amount of evil wood and cut them into wooden swords. He trained with them, and every time he was exhausted, he would soak in the evil spring, nourish the evil spirit essences, and recover his strength. His strength increased every day, and this feeling made him extremely infatuated. Over 100 wooden swords that were wrapped with 7 types of profound spirit qi danced in the air. Sometimes they would form a sword screen, and sometimes they would scatter into the shape of a flower. It was very elegant. The sword elder once said that the limitless sword sect's secret techniques had records of the limitless sword array. Using the limitless sword arts to activate these strong sword arrays could produce astonishing results. But now that the sword elder had turned into a sword stone, these sword arrays would not see the light of day for the time being. It was a pity. Not good. Just as Su Yun was still training in the forest, Chang Xie's shout came out from the other side. He looked flustered and frantically ran towards Su Yun. Su Yun was stunned. He removed the wooden swords that filled the sky, kept the 1,000-deep sword and engraved dragon blade, and looked at him in confusion. What happened? Go! Go quickly! Those rascals are here again. Go quickly! Chang Xie shouted at Su Yun as he ran. Those rascals? Su Yun was suspicious, but he did not dare to hesitate. He immediately followed Chang Xie deeper into the forest. He saw Chang Xie leading Su Yun and ran to the back of the forest to hide in a huge tree hole. The tree hole was pitch black, and there was a large amount of black qi floating around. When the two of them entered, they were completely covered by the black qi. Su Yun was confused. He saw Chang Xie leaning against the tree trunk, his entire body trembling. His face was full of fear and shock, like a frightened rabbit. Chang Xie, what's wrong? Who is here? Su Yun asked softly. It's them. It's them. It's Master's enemies. They are here to torture Master's loyal guards again. Chang Xie shouted as he trembled. Loyal guards? Master? Su Yun was in the clouds and did not understand what Chang Xie was saying. Chang Xie hugged his head and trembled. Human, you don't understand. Actually, I'm the captain of the guards in the Shrine of Evil Spirits. I guard the shrine for Master, and Master goes on expeditions everywhere, conquering countless strong martial artists and taking them as his own servants. But one day, Master provoked an almighty being. Although this almighty being was not as strong as Master, he was an expert in sneak attacks. When Master was unprepared, he casted the Heaven Lock technique and lured Master into the technique and forcefully extracted Master's spirit and soul. Master lost his spirit and soul, and his cultivation dropped greatly. In the end, he was torn apart by the almighty being, and the guards who wanted to take revenge from Master were all destroyed by the almighty being. The guards did not die and fought to the end. Relying on the secret technique that Master taught, they finally injured the almighty being. The almighty being was furious, and before he left, he activated the curse technique and turned the guards' spirits into fruits and hung them on the trees to let them be exposed to the sun and wind and never be able to reincarnate. Chang Xie cried out in pain. Hearing that, Su Yun immediately thought of the human-faced fruits and was enlightened. Then, Those fruits were sealed with the guard's spirits? That's right. Those fruits are the human spirit fruits. After consuming them, it can increase one's cultivation. Because these guards only acknowledge me, other than me, if anyone else were to take the fruits, the guards would choose the last step and turn into ashes and disappear forever. They would rather die than be taken by others, unless they have my permission, because they trust me and believe that I can revive them and revive Master. That is also why I told you in the entire evil realm, only I can pluck these fruits. No wonder when you were plucking the human spirit fruits, you had a kowtow. So you were thanking them for their sacrifice. They all understand that I plucked them to revive Master. They were willing to sacrifice themselves. Even if they were eaten by other evil realm people, they did not care. As Chung Xie spoke, his face was filled with sorrow. All these years, who knew how many guards had sacrificed themselves for nothing? Su Yin naturally respected Chung Xie and the guards. To be able to do such a thing, their master should feel gratified. So, you want me to go to the shrine of evil spirits so that I can help you revive your master? That's right. After the Almighty being left with heavy injuries, he sent people to destroy the shrine of evil spirits. The enchantments, arrays, evil chi inside the shrine were all messed up and mixed together, attracting a large number of evil beings. Furthermore, many of the evil soldiers who died were affected by the chi and lost their minds, becoming zombies, wandering around the shrine of evil spirits. With my cultivation, I cannot enter the shrine of evil spirits, so I need your help. Go to the shrine of evil spirits and help me retrieve Master's divine crown. Before Master died, he secretly left a part of his spirit in the divine crown. I can use the divine crown to think of a way to revive Master. Resurrect the loyal guards. Chung Xie wiped the tears from the corner of his eyes and said painfully, "Now, the Almighty Being's people are here again. They will not pluck the human spirit fruits to give the guards a quick death. They will only torture them and make them suffer." So boring, Su Yun said helplessly. After they torture them enough, they will go to the shrine of evil spirits and look for Master's divine crown. Look for your Master's divine crown? Why didn't you take it when you destroyed the shrine? Because the enchantment that sealed Master's divine crown was broken, and the dense chi of the divine crown leaked out, causing countless of evil realm people to sense it. But the current shrine of evil spirits is already very terrifying, and only the strong martial artists can enter. All these years, who knows how many evil realm people have died in the shrine? I see. Su Yin nodded his head. Just then, he heard Chung Xie shout in fear, "They're here." Su Yin was startled and quietly looked outside, only to see a group of evil realm people approaching them. Immediately, Su Yun's heart jumped. Chung Xie was the master's man. If he was captured, he would definitely suffer a fate worse than death. And if he was with Chung Xie, he would not have a good time. He had to think of a way to leave. Chapter 201. They would come once a month, with the goal of getting the divine crown. Although they would all die every time, they did not give up. The first time, I did not have time to defend myself, and they broke one of my legs. I could only use my broken blade as a crutch to walk. After that, I became smarter and dug a hole in this tree and set up some enchantments to conceal my chi. Every time they came, I would sense them beforehand and hide here. Chung Xie said in a terrified voice. Su Yin secretly stuck half of his face out of the tree hole and carefully sized up the evil realm people that were coming over. They were dressed in brown armor, and their bodies were like black spirits. Every single one of them had a sinister smile on their faces. Both of their feet were a foot off the ground, and they gently floated over. There was no sound at all. Is it really safe here? Su Yin asked. It was definitely safe in the past, but I'm not sure now. But they know of my existence, and they are not in a rush to kill me. Instead, they want to capture me and torture me. That is the joy of being an evil realm person. Chung Xie said, I see that they are only at the 10th stage of the spirit core disciple realm. They are still a step away from the spirit soul disciple realm. There are a total of 12 of them. How can such a team enter the shrine to search for treasures? Although they are a team in name to search for treasures, but in truth, they are only here to scout. Scout? Scout for information about the shrine's terrain? That's right. The shrine is ultimately my master's territory. There are many traps inside, enchantments everywhere. Forget about the spirit core disciple realm. Even a spirit soul disciple realm cultivator might not be able to safely obtain the divine crown. I reckon that only a spirit star realm cultivator can enter. Maybe after they scout the terrain, the almighty being will take action. They're all dead in the shrine. How can they send the information out? Very simple. They have mirror imprints on them. The almighty being can see everything in their line of sight. This almighty being is an expert in sneak attacks. Every time he makes a move, he will make preparations. He is so cautious, and that is the reason why my master could not defeat him. That's similar to me, Su Yun said shamelessly. Ga. Just then, a horrifying sound came out from the side of the tree. Su Yun and Chung Xie anxiously held their breaths. The two of them did not dare to make a sound. Cold sweat trickled down as they listened to the movements around them. These evil realm people were all flying in the air, walking without a sound. They had no way of knowing when they were near, and only when they were near could they hear the weird breathing sounds of the evil realm people. Gradually, the sound of breathing faded into the distance. The two of them continued to hide in the tree hole for a full hour before carefully making their way out. They shouldn't be coming back, right? Su Yun looked at the road behind the tree hole and said, "They will be buried in the divine hall. They will be affected by the turbid energy within the divine hall and turn into evil beings within the divine hall, forever wandering within the divine hall." Chung Xie crawled out of the tree hole, using the broken blade to support himself, his voice trembling as he spoke. Hearing that, Su Yun's brain spun a few times and thought, if that's the case, in the future when we get the divine crown for you, maybe we can use them. Hearing that, Chung Xie anxiously nodded his head. Human, you're right. When the time comes, you can follow them into the divine hall and wait for the chance to get the divine crown. But it's just a fantasy now. A group of 10th-stage spirit core disciple cultivators are all buried there. I'm just a 2nd-stage spirit core disciple cultivator. Isn't that courting death? So let's just cultivate first, Su Yun said and walked away. Chung Xie did not say anything and followed Su Yun back to the forest. He anxiously ran into the forest and came to the big tree that was filled with mortal spirit fruits. Just then, the big tree was shining with red light, and waves of mournful wails could be heard. Chung Xie ran over and raised his head. His black face immediately changed, and his eyes were filled with fear. Around every mortal spirit fruit on the tree, there was a large number of blood swords. These swords were not even an inch long, but they were revolving around the mortal spirit fruits at high speed and continuously slashing at them. The mortal spirit fruits were shaking crazily, and the faces on the fruits were all twisted, as though they were in pain. These are spirit swords. They can cause harm to the soul, but it is not fatal. They are experiencing the pain of being cut into thousands of pieces. Chung Xie knelt on the ground and screamed in pain, as though he was suffering from the pain of the swords. He was the only one left from the glory of the past. His companions all ended up like this, and he could only watch and not do anything. This feeling of being powerless was the most painful. Su Yun looked at Chung Xie quietly and did not say anything. He took a deep breath and turned to leave. On the second day, the spirit swords disappeared, and the mortal spirit fruits finally quieted down, but Chung Xie was much less talkative than before. He still did not feel tired, and used his leg that did not show any signs of injury to limp to look for food. The mortal spirit fruits were exchanged for powerful medicinal ingredients for Su Yun, and Su Yun accepted them without hesitation. After the evil realm people passed through the forest, they did not return. Su Yun once again resumed his peaceful cultivation life. As time passed, the mortal spirit fruits in the forest became lesser, and Su Yun's cultivation became stronger. Half a year later, Su Yun, who was immersed in cultivation, leaped into the 10th stage of the Spirit Core Disciple. The Everlasting Stone's consolidation, Hu Qian Mei's physique's enhancement, adding on the evil realm's unique and powerful materials, and the help of the Spirit Spring, his cultivation sword. Everything was difficult at the beginning. The most difficult part of cultivation for a spirit cultivator was the two stages. The cultivation stage, the stage after the spirit soul disciple. And in between these two stages, it was the best place for spirit cultivators to cultivate. Talented people would be able to progress without any obstacles. This was also the reason why Qing could quickly enter the spirit core disciple realm when she entered the main house. Her talent was not bad, and the conditions were good. So how could her cultivation not improve crazily? But now, she was stuck at the 10th stage of cultivation. To jump into the spirit soul disciple realm, it was not something that could be achieved with hard work and pills. It required a fortuitous encounter or an extremely long time of accumulation. Suyin was not anxious. The current profound spirit qi in his body had reached an extreme state. Because of the monarch occult force, the spirit spring, and the unique qi of the evil realm, the evil spirit essences in Su Yun's body had increased to more than 9,000 and was about to break 10,000. The profound spirit qi in his body was no longer dominated by pure divine spirit qi, but by evil spirit qi. Because his body was filled with evil qi, his face became even paler, and threads of evil qi leaked out from his pores. Not only that, under the support of the strong evil spirit qi, the number of flying swords he could control also increased. Previously, he only had 100 swords, but now, he could control 499 wooden swords to attack. Following this trend, it was just a matter of time before he could enter the second sword of the limitless sword arts. Today was the day that the Almighty Being had sent the evil realm people to investigate the shrine. Suyin had stayed here for close to a year. The evil realm people that came to investigate the shrine came one after another, and Su Yun and Cheng Xie already knew when they would arrive. Every time they approached, the two of them would not go to the tree hole, but chose to hide in the black evil cave mansion. Now was no exception. Cheng Xie and Su Yun wore their black cloaks and headed straight to the black evil cave mansion. Before leaving, Cheng Xie specially went into the forest and kowtowed to the spirit fruits 10 times, then plucked one and kept it in his pocket. He was prepared to go to the black evil cave mansion to exchange for some treasures for Su Yun to train. There were only 7 spirit fruits left, and these were the souls of the last 7 guards by the master's side. Looking at Cheng Xie's heavy expression, Su Yun took a deep breath and asked softly, "Aren't you afraid that after I cultivate, I will reject your request and not go to the shrine to get the divine crown for you?" Cheng Xie was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed sinisterly. "Afraid? Haha, of course I'm afraid. Human, if that's the case, then I will lose everything, including my faith. Then why do you trust me? Do I have a choice?" Cheng Xie raised his hand and patted the weak leg and laughed. "A weak and unloyal, crippled evil realm person. How long can you live in the evil realm? If I don't trust you, then who should I trust?" Su Yun turned his head and did not speak. Very quickly, the two of them arrived at the black evil cave mansion. There were many evil realm people around the cave mansion, exchanging for items. Under the intimidation of the Almighty Being, this was the only place that could give people a sense of security. Of course, in here, you had to be humble. Cheng Xie was like that. Along the way, he kept his head down and did not dare to look at anyone, afraid that he would provoke them. In the entire black evil cave mansion, Cheng Xie's cultivation was the weakest. Luckily, the master of the cave mansion was powerful, and the evil realm people did not dare to cause trouble. But sometimes, this deterrence wasn't absolute. In front, a group of evil realm people walked over, a total of 6 people. When they walked over, the surrounding evil realm people did not make any moves to welcome the thousand-eyed evil lord, but they all lowered their heads and stopped talking, afraid of offending them. "Why is it this guy?" Cheng Xie's face changed. He anxiously lowered his head and pulled Su Yun to the side. Su Yun had a face of suspicion, but he knew that Cheng Xie would not harm him, so he followed his instructions and stood by the side, waiting for the people to pass. These people looked left and right, their faces full of pride and complacency. This was the pride of a strong martial artist. They could control the life and death of the weak, and that was something to be proud of. Chengxie? Suddenly, the evil realm people who were walking over saw them, and the leader's face was slightly startled and immediately shouted out. Su Yun could clearly feel Chengxie's body shivering, but he still took off his cape and respectfully bowed to the few people, his mouth full of respect. Chengxie greets the masters. What masters? Master, there's only me. The leader kicked Chengxie's abdomen, causing him to flip, and then stepped on his boneless leg. Chengxie cried out in pain, but he did not dare to resist and did not even dare to scold or complain. Even if he resisted, the matter would blow up and no one would help Chengxie, and he would still be the one to suffer. The thing that I instructed you to do, have you done it? The leader of the evil realm people's face revealed a cold smile and said softly, Pluck all the spirit fruits and give them to me. You should still remember my words, right? These few years, I left the Black Evil Cave Mansion and did not meet you. I just came back recently and coincidentally met you. Then, where are the fruits? Did you bring them? Master, the fruits are still on the tree. Chengxie did not dare to pluck the fruits. If the fruits leave the tree and do not consume it within 2 hours, it will lose its effect and will not be able to increase my cultivation. So Chengxie decided to see Master first, and then I will give you the fruits. Chengxie broke out in cold sweat and shouted while trembling. The leader heard and loosened his leg, his face revealing a sneer. Since it's like that, then I order you to come next time. Give me all the spirit fruits. If not, I will take your other leg bone away. Finished, he waved his hand and led the rest of the evil realm people away. Su Yun walked a few steps forward and helped Chengxie up. Chengxie's face did not have much anger, only fear, but very quickly he regained his composure, as though he was used to the days of being bullied. Previously, Su Yun had clearly seen that when he was kicked to the ground by the man, his body had curled up, protecting the mortal spirit fruit in the bag. The two of them continued forward, only to see Chengxie in front of a cave, and chatted with an evil realm person, then took out the spirit fruit he was protecting and gave it to the evil realm person, in exchange for a bag of ingredients for Su Yun. After obtaining the ingredients, he would immediately leave, as though he was afraid of seeing the fruit being devoured by the evil realm person. After exchanging for the items and calculating the time, the group of evil realm people should have left. Su Yun and Chengxie quickly left the Black Evil Cave Mansion and returned to the forest. Chapter 202. Gudong, Gudong, Gudong. Just like before, Su Yun absorbed all the juices in the beast's head, then stood up and headed towards the evil spring. At the moment, his entire body was filled with endless evil qi. The number of evil spirit essences was comparable to the number of earth spirit essences and ordinary spirit essences. If not for the monarch occult force activating daily, continuously balancing the various attributes of profound spirit qi, Su Yun's profound spirit qi would only be left with one attribute. The heavenly scale divine I concealed his entire qi, but without question, the current person was many times stronger than before. Even without the help of the heavenly crystal or other treasures, he was able to control a few hundred flying swords, which was unimaginable in the past. But this was far from enough with just a 10th stage spirit core disciple cultivation. Even in the sky martial continent, he was an ordinary existence. After entering the spirit soul disciple realm, he would be considered a top figure, but he was just a top figure. That was all. Su Yun threw away the dried-up beast's head, wiped his mouth that was filled with black liquid, his eyes filled with determination. If his cultivation was high, what was there to worry about? Profound sky sect? Su family? If I am not afraid, they will definitely not be able to do anything to me. Even the spirit demon clan lady is not afraid. Thinking about that, he did not rest and walked straight to the evil spring, his entire body immersed in it, and continued to absorb the energy of the evil spring. After soaking for a long time, the energy in the evil spring was getting lesser and lesser. Almost all of it was absorbed by Su Yun. The spring water was getting lighter and lighter, and no longer had the original ink-like color. Seems like after soaking for a period of time, He could remove the soaking in the evil spring from his training. Currently, there was still some energy in the evil spring, so Su Yun laid in and enjoyed the pleasure of the surrounding evil qi entering his body. At the start, the bone-piercing cold feeling had completely disappeared, and Su Yun was getting more and more used to the cold qi of the evil realm. Maybe it was because a human's body had already become ice-cold. Dong! Just at this time, a suppressed sound came out, followed by a slight tremor on the ground. Su Yun's expression tensed up. With a whoosh, he jumped out of the evil spring, pulled out Thousand Deep Sword and engraved dragon blade, and carefully went towards the source of the sound. During this period of cultivation, he was not in a hurry to retrieve the sword. When his cultivation was strong enough, he would definitely not go and retrieve the sword. Of course, he still had his own thoughts. There was not much meaning in continuing to take the subordinate swords. If he wanted to take them, he would take the primal sword like the Death Sword or the primal sword hidden in the Sword Palace. In the past, Su Yun thought that it was impossible, but after being enlightened by Ling Qingyu, he understood. If he obtained the primal sword, wouldn't all the subordinate swords belong to him? Dong! At this moment, another explosion sounded. Cheng Xie, who was holding onto the broken blade, ran over in a panic. He looked battered and exhausted. The robe on his body was in tatters, and his whole body was covered in mud. His expression was one of panic and terror. Run! Run, they're coming! Cheng Xie opened his eyes wide and shouted at Su Yun, who was beside the evil spring. Without waiting for Su Yun to speak, a pitch-black claw shadow flew over and fiercely smashed onto Cheng Xie's back. Cheng Xie's huge body immediately flew out and landed heavily on the ground. He spat out a mouthful of black blood and wanted to climb back up, but he did not have much strength left. Su Yun's eyes congealed and looked towards the direction where the claw shadow flew out. A few evil realm people walked out from that direction. They were the people he met in the Black Evil Cave Mansion, the people who humiliated Cheng Xie and demanded him to hand over the spirit fruits. The leader was called Wu Zhuaxie. His strength was ferocious, reaching the second stage of the spirit soul realm. It was said that he was a servant in the Black Evil Cave Mansion and often interacted with the almighty being of the cave mansion. The evil realm people behind him were not weak either. All of them were above the 9th stage of the spirit core realm, with the highest at the 10th stage. Despicable Cheng Xie, I have already given you a chance. Why don't you cherish it? Why did you lie to me? Humiliate me? You filthy bastard. Just die in pain like this. Wu Zhuaxie said with a hoarse voice, his expression sinister, walking step by step towards Cheng Xie, who was lying on the ground. Cheng Xie's eyes were wide open, his face full of fear. He used all his strength, supporting his body to move backwards. But how far could he run? He knew he could not run, and looking at the people getting closer, he shouted in pain, Master's loyal guards are only left with the last 7. No matter what, I will not give their spirits to you for you to absorb. No, I will definitely not do that. Since it's like that, there's no point in keeping you. I will not allow people who disobey me to live in this world. Wu Zhuaxie's long and narrow eyes that were burning with pitch-black flames squinted. Then he raised his hand and was about to end Cheng Xie. Wait! Just then, Su Yun spoke out. Are you with him? Wu Zhuaxie stopped and stared at Su Yun. Once he asked, Cheng Xie anxiously shouted, I don't know him, master. If you want to kill, just kill me. He has nothing to do with me. Really? Wu Zhuaxie's eyes revealed a trace of fanaticism. But in the next second, Su Yun shook his head. No, I know him. I'm with him. Idiot, you! Cheng Xie was enraged and roared. You idiot! You cannot die. If you die, who can help me obtain Master's divine crown? You have to live. You have to so. You want me to escape? Su Yun asked. Go. I'll hold him off for you. Cheng Xie seemed to have made a decision. With one hand holding onto the broken blade, he tried his best to stand up, but how could he have the strength to do so? The attack just now did not kill him. It was already Wu Zhuaxie being merciful. Cheng Xie's words caused Wu Zhuaxie and the rest to laugh out loud, their mocking laughter resonating out. Su Yun was curious. Cheng Xie's cultivation and talent were destroyed, Could it be that his intelligence was destroyed as well? He could even say such words. Su-yin did not know if he was stupid or cute. Su-yin spat out a mouthful of turbid chi, then pulled out Thousand Deep Sword and stabbed it into the ground. My strength is not as good as yours. I can't fight you guys. What can I do for you to let us go? Let you guys go? Wu Zhua Xie laughed sinisterly. I'll lose a lot of fun, but if you guys are willing to kneel down and kowtow to me, maybe I'll consider not killing you guys. Hey, you're not fit to be my master. Cheng Xie was enraged. His cultivation was low, although he was afraid of death, but that was because of his loyalty to his master. Even without that loyalty, he was still a man. Su-yin was quiet for a moment, then asked, other than that, is there no other way? You two ants, you're not fit to discuss with me. Either kneel down, or I'll suck your souls. Hee. Su-yin stared at Thousand Deep Sword, looked at the sword body, and said, actually, although my cultivation is not as good as yours, but in one aspect, you guys definitely cannot compare to me. This strange statement caused Wu Zhua Xie and the rest to be stunned. Oh, you still have something powerful. I do. Su-yin nodded his head, but in the next second his eyes flashed with a glint, his arms suddenly moved, the evil chi on his body suddenly leaked out, his palm grabbed the Thousand Deep Sword in front of him, pulled it out, and then slashed towards Wu Zhua Xie. The sword tip was aimed at his pitch-black neck. Voila! Almost in an instant, the whistling sword chi surged out like water. Then clang! A pitch-black claw quickly grabbed onto Su-yin's Thousand Deep Sword that was flying towards Wu Zhua Xie. Looking at it, it was Wu Zhua Xie's claw. He firmly held onto the cold sword edge, his long and slender black claws tightly clasped onto the sword blade. No matter how much strength Su-yin used, he was unable to move the sword blade. It was even shaking, as though the entire sword was under his control. You're just an ant. How dare you be so impudent in front of me? You don't even know your own capabilities? You think you can sneak an attack on me? Wu Zhua Xie squinted his eyes again, his entire body releasing a dense killing intent. Obviously, he was furious. Just that. This matter was not over yet. Right at this moment, a strange rustling sound suddenly resounded in the surroundings, and then a large number of wooden swords assaulted Chun Shi from all directions. Every single sword was enveloped by a heavy and strange aura, and the originally ordinary wooden swords actually glowed with a multicolored light and were extremely sharp. What kind of weird technique is this? Everyone was startled. Without waiting for them to think, all the wooden swords flew towards them. The sword tip pointed straight, covering the sky and covering the earth, like a wave of swords ruthlessly smashing towards them. Although they were just wooden swords, but under the dense, profound spirit chi, they were actually shining like divine swords. What a strong chi! Be careful. Wu Zhua Xie anxiously retreated, waving both his claws, releasing thousands of claw images, slashing towards the wooden swords. Su-yin took the chance to retract the Thousand Deep Sword and pointed. Bang! A clap of thunder sounded out in the sky. Following that, dark clouds covered the sky. The vortex-like dark clouds started to spin, as though a gigantic dragon was stirring up the entire sky. Su-yin put down his sword. With one hand, he carried the half-dead Cheng Xie and anxiously rushed into the forest. Cunning ant, once I catch you, I will imprison your spirit and torture you forever. Wu Zhua Xie was enraged. He roared crazily. He smashed the wooden swords and chased. But before he could chase the gigantic vortex in the sky, a gigantic black sword the size of a mountain rushed out. Like Mount Tai crashing down, the sword body was thick and powerful. The entire sword was like a dragon's head, bringing with it a dense chi that could destroy everything. It fiercely smashed down, cleaving the heavens, beheading the dragon. So strong. This chi is so strong. Is this that ant's mystical technique? No, this must be a treasure. Wu Zhua Xie's heart jumped. He shouted loudly. The group of evil realm people hastily activated their treasures. But it was too late. The 100 swords were restricting them. The real killing technique, cleaving the heavens, beheading the dragon, was already descending. Dong! This attack caused the entire black evil cave mansion to tremble. Countless of evil realm people opened their eyes. All of them were awakened, including the sleeping almighty beings. The black evil cave mansion had not caused such a huge commotion for many years. Su Yun, who was rushing into the forest, upon hearing the loud sound, anxiously found the tree hole that Chung Xie had dug and threw him in. Human, seems like you still intend to throw me away, but that's right. I'm just a burden. If you bring me along, none of us will be able to escape. Let's go. The further the better. I only hope that after you leave, you can still complete the task that I entrusted to you, and go to the shrine of evil spirits, retrieve the divine crown, and then revive my master. That way, I and the loyal guards can finally rest in peace. Chung Xie said bitterly. He did not resist, and allowed Su Yun to do as he pleased. But Su Yun ignored him. After stuffing Chung Xie into the tree hole, he immediately retreated and turned to hide behind the gigantic tree. After staying here for almost a year, Su Yun was rather familiar with the surroundings. If he continued to run into the forest, he would be courting death, not to mention that the forest was filled with a large number of strong evil beasts. Just the one in the forest was the famous shrine of evil spirits around the black evil cave mansion. If he continued to run, he would only die. Since there was nowhere to run, he could only choose to fight. Just now, when he activated the sprite's shadow, Su Yun was not as weak as before. The evil spirit essences in his body quickly produced more evil spirit chi, filling his chi channels. With his current strength, it should not be a problem to activate 2 to 3 sprite shadow consummate technique. That was the benefit of strength. Although my cultivation is not as high as yours, but my treasures are not something you can compare to. Su Yun held on to his sword tightly, staring at the other side. The heavenly scale divine, I shielded his chi, hiding his figure extremely well. Voila! Very quickly, the sound of air breaking came out from the small path. A few evil realm people were flying in the air, quickly approaching. They're here. They're here. Chung Xie's frightened voice came out from the tree hole. Su Yun congealed. All the spirit essences in his body activated again. Chapter 203. With the amplification of the heavenly scale divine eye, Su Yun could easily see anything from a kilometer away. Just then, Wu Zhuaxie and the rest slowed down. Without a doubt, they were suspicious because at this time, they could no longer sense any qi in the air. Previously, although they were unable to sense Su Yun's qi, they were able to sense the qi on Chung Xie's body and track him. But now, even Chung Xie's qi had disappeared. Su Yun stared intently at Wu Zhuaxie and the rest, carefully observing their every move. Wu Zhuaxie and the rest looked around cautiously, releasing their evil force, using the evil force to sense everything around them, capturing all the movements around them. Human, what are you doing? Don't tell me you want to fight against them. Impossible. That is definitely impossible. You're only a 10th stage spirit core disciple. The weakest of them is a 9th stage spirit core disciple. The strongest is a spirit soul disciple. With just you alone, you will definitely not be able to fight them. Go. Quickly go. Don't be rash. Chung Xie saw Su Yun leaning against the tree in an ambush position and immediately stuck his head out and shouted anxiously, Go? You think I don't want to go? Su Yun's expression was firm. But where can we go now? With my cultivation level, if I continue to advance into the soulless forest, I will only die. Both in front and behind me are unknown evil beings, and in front of me are evil beings. If it were you, what would you choose? Maybe you know more about the soulless forest than me. Now, if you can find a way to escape, we will leave immediately. Chung Xie was speechless. Run now? Other than running into the depths of the soulless forest, towards the shrine of evil spirits. Where else could he go? It's too late. Wu Zhuaxie and the rest were getting closer and closer. Su Yun's face tensed up, his grip on the sword hilt tightened. 7 types of profound spirit chi were activated, and he was about to launch a sneak attack. But, just at that moment, an explosion came out from the depths of the soulless forest, followed by a painful wail from an evil being. Su Yun was startled. Seems like someone is coming from behind. Chung Xie also heard the explosion and anxiously came out of the tree hole, shouting at Su Yun. But in the next second, Su Yun's face changed, and he anxiously stuffed him back. In order to enter the depths of the soulless forest, they must pass through us. But during this period of time, other than the troops sent by the Almighty to explore the shrine of evil spirits, no one else has entered. Why would someone come after us? I'm afraid there's only one possibility, and that is that the troops that were sent to explore the shrine of evil spirits didn't die in the battle. They had already found the way and returned to report to that powerful being. Su Yun said in a low voice as he entered the tree hole, "You managed to explore the temple?" Cheng Xie looked at Su Yun, who had just entered the tree hole, and was shocked, his voice trembling. "You mean to say that these people have already found out the details of the temple? Are you going to go back and ask that mighty figure to come and retrieve the item?" That should be the case. I don't know how many teams they sent, but every time there was no news. Most of them were buried in the temple. But this time is different. In fact, if I think about it carefully, it should be over for them. After all, we've already wasted so much time. Then what should we do? This won't do. We must act now. We must snatch Master's divine crown before they do. Cheng Xie said anxiously. You're still thinking about that? Let's think of a way to survive. In front of us is Wu Zhuaxie, and behind us is the mighty figure's troops. There are wolves in front and tigers behind. Whether we can survive or not is a problem, and you're still thinking about getting the divine crown. Su Yun shook his head and said he respected Cheng Xie's loyalty to his master, but sometimes this loyalty had to depend on the situation, or else it would be blind loyalty. Cheng Xie was not a stupid person. He swallowed his saliva and looked at Su Yun. Human, do you have any ideas? No. Su Yun shook his head. Then why are we still here? You have an escape route. This tree hole of yours is not bad. At least it can hide qi. But in truth, it cannot hide from Wu Zhuaxie's senses. Now that Wu Zhuaxie and the rest have spread their evil qi to a 100 radius, if they go near, they will sense that there's someone in the tree hole. At that time, we will not be able to escape. Then what do we do? What do we do? I don't want to die. Master is not revived. I cannot die. Cheng Xie was like a frightened bird. His entire body was trembling, and his lips were trembling. So we can only leave it to fate. Leave it to fate. Yes, leave it to fate. Saying that, Su Yun took out a thin wooden sword from his storage ring. Then he activated his profound spirit qi and enveloped it. Then he shot out of the tree hole. In the blink of an eye, he flew into the sky and disappeared. What are you doing? Quickly take back that treasure. If Wu Zhuaxie and the rest saw it, wouldn't that expose our tracks? Cheng Xie shouted anxiously. Su Yun shook his head. This is not for Wu Zhuaxie and the rest to see. I controlled the flying sword to fly in the opposite direction. This is for the mighty figure's troops to see. For them to see? Yes, I want to lure them here in advance. At least before Wu Zhuaxie and the rest arrive here. Wu Zhuaxie is using his evil qi to sense our tracks. If Wu Zhuaxie reaches here first, he will definitely find us. At that time, we will be in a terrible situation. But if I use the wooden sword to create a commotion, I can lure the evil realm people here first. They will pass by us and meet Wu Zhuaxie first. At that time, maybe we will be safe. Why maybe? Because I don't know if they will exchange blows with Wu Zhuaxie. If they do not cause trouble and avoid Wu Zhuaxie, then our danger will not be resolved. Hearing that, Cheng Xie became silent. The wooden sword flew very quickly. Very quickly, it left Su Yun's control and started to waver. Su Yun held his breath. He controlled the wooden sword behind him and fiercely slashed towards a huge tree. Quangdang. The thick and sturdy tree instantly split into two. The thick sword qi and evil qi surged out. The wooden sword fell to the ground. It had completely lost control. The evil realm people who were advancing heard the commotion and were immediately startled. A few of them looked at each other. Immediately, two of the evil realm people separated and ran to the side. Then, they quickly rushed towards the source of the commotion. This qi seems to be created by a 10th stage spirit core disciple. Maybe there are some ants in front of us. One of the evil realm people sensed the grade of the chi and immediately shouted to the leader of the evil realm people. Ants? The leader of the evil realm people had a sinister look in his eyes. He stuck out his red tongue and licked his black lips. His eyes that were burning with black flames were filled with greed and desire. We barely escaped from the shrine of evil spirits. It has been a long time since we tasted a fresh soul. Let's go, let's have a good meal. 10th stage spirit core disciple. The soul must be delicious. With that, the leader of the evil realm people smiled sinisterly and walked forward quickly. Their cultivation was at least at the first stage of the spirit soul realm. The highest was at the 4th stage of the spirit soul realm. Wu Zhuaxia and the rest were definitely not their opponents. Furthermore, Wu Zhuaxia lost in terms of numbers. There were 7 of them. Su Yin held his breath as he carefully sensed the movements behind him. These evil realm people were all floating around and did not make any noise. The only thing that could sense their existence was their breathing that sounded like the howls of evil spirits. "They're here," Su Yin exclaimed. Then he stopped breathing and did not move an inch. He was afraid that he would make any sound. Cheng Xie cowered at the side of the tree hole and trembled. He was once a strong cultivator. These spirit soul realm people were just ants in his eyes. But now he was an ant. Maybe the confidence he had in the past had disappeared along with his strength. Seeing Cheng Xie like that, Su Yin could not help but sigh. In this world, strength was too important. The breathing sound got closer and closer. Then it gradually became further and weaker. Su Yin and Cheng Xie knew that the group of evil realm people had already passed through the tree hole and were advancing forward. But at this moment, the frequency of the breathing and the changes in the voice stopped. The group of evil realm people stopped. Su Yin was startled. Then he heard a hoarse voice. "Who are you guys?" The voice came from Wu Zhuaxia. As expected, they met. Su Yin was ecstatic. Anxiously, he perked up his ears and listened to the conversation between the evil realm people. "Were the sword chi and evil chi released by you guys? Keek, you guys are truly not bad. I believe that you guys will be delicious later." The evil realm people laughed sinisterly. Then they spread out and surrounded Wu Zhuaxia and the rest. Wu Zhuaxia and the rest knew that the evil realm people were not weak. They were definitely not their opponents, but they were not afraid. Wu Zhuaxia swaggered out and looked at the evil realm people coldly. He said arrogantly, "You guys want to devour me? Huh, aren't you afraid that your spirit will be destroyed? Little brat, you think you can fight us?" The leader of the evil realm people licked his lips and laughed sinisterly. "I can't fight you guys, but I'm not someone you can provoke. Do you know who my master is? He's the master of the black, evil cave mansion. If you dare to provoke me, I will make you guys die without a burial ground." Who knew? When he said that, the evil realm people laughed out loud. "Ha ha 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 ha. What master of the broken cave mansion? Ha 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 ha. In front of our master. Your master is just someone who sells his head. You dare to use him to scare us?" The leader of the evil realm people did not want to waste any more time. Laughing sinisterly, he actually made his move. One of his hands formed a claw and grabbed towards Wu Zhuaxia's heart. It was as though he wanted to take the evil heart as an appetizer. Wu Zhuaxia's face changed. He immediately retreated and unleashed a mystical technique to fight back. Very quickly, the two groups of evil realm people started fighting. But Wu Zhuaxia's group was weak, and they were few in numbers. They were not the opponents of the evil demons that just walked out of the shrine of evil spirits. Very quickly, the two groups of evil realm people started fighting. But Wu Zhuaxia's group was weak, and their numbers were few. They were not the opponents of the evil demons that just walked out of the shrine. Very quickly, they could not hold on any longer. Su Yin quietly peeked out an eye and stared intently at the fight outside. His expression was solemn as perspiration dripped down his face. Even if that's the case, but if they were to use a strong mystical technique, we would not be able to hide. Since this tree hole is too weak, any little bit of evil chi can break it. Su Yin clenched his teeth. He lowered his head and thought about something. Finally, he made a decision. This tree hole is too close to where the two groups of evil realm people are fighting. We have to leave. The trees here will be destroyed by them sooner or later. If we don't leave, we will be discovered by them. Leave? How do we leave? There's no way out here. Who said there's no way out? Suyin clenched his teeth. He raised his hand and smashed the tree behind him. Then he climbed out. There's only one way we can go. Although it's a narrow escape, it's better than no way out. Are you talking about the deeper parts of the soulless forest? Chapter 204. Breaking through the tree walls, Su Yun carried Cheng Xie and ran with all his might. Creating a commotion here would definitely attract the attention of the team. But the leader of the evil beings was currently focused on the few pieces of fat meat in front of him. Why would he care about Su Yun and the rest? The evil realm was a world where the strong preyed on the weak. The evil realm's evil chi was completely different from the Sky Martial Kanan's chi. They could directly absorb the opponent's evil chi and convert it for their own use. Although it was a small amount every time, but it was much faster than training, and the evil realm people enjoyed the process of devouring the opponent's soul and absorbing the opponent's power. It made them addicted. Leader, there are still people there. Ignore them. They are running towards the depths of the soulless forest. If we go there, we will definitely meet with the strong evil beings. It was not easy for us to come out from the depths of the soulless forest. If we go in again, it will only be more troublesome. Let's settle these people first. The leader laughed sinisterly, his palms suddenly congealing a regiment of pitch-black flames, quickly shooting towards Wu Zhuaxia. The flames overflowing with qi under the powerful strength of his palm. It struck out with the power to destroy everything. Wu Zhuaxia's face changed. He immediately raised his hand to block. His 5 long claws transformed into blades and coldly welcomed the attack. But when his sharp claws touched the palm of flames, they were all melted. The palm of flames instantly smashed Wu Zhuaxia's claws and fiercely struck his heart. Puchi! The flames melted Wu Zhuaxia's pitch-black armor, piercing through his body, directly entering his body, grabbing onto the beating pitch-black evil heart. Wu Zhuaxia's body twitched. Before he could even react, the evil realm person in front of him had already dug out his evil heart. Ha, what a fresh heart! The leader of the evil beings laughed out loud, his blazing eyes filled with joy and satisfaction. He opened his pitch-black mouth and bit towards the evil heart like a black hole. Zila! The sound of the heart shattering came out, the evil heart spilling out a large amount of juice. The leader of the evil beings was like eating a fruit, chewing big mouthfuls, and very quickly, the evil heart was swallowed. Wu Zhuaxia lost his heart. His body twitched a few times, then fell to the ground dead. But this was not the end. The leader of the evil beings tore off his arm, twisted his neck, and started to chew on it like a starving man. Not only that, the leader of the evil beings casted a secret technique and pressed on the broken body. With a pull, a grayish-white spirit body was pulled out from the body. This spirit body looked very similar to Wu Zhuaxia. His entire body was light and agile, like a thin veil, but right now his face was twisted, revealing a panicked expression. He tried his best to open his mouth, wanting to make a sound, but no matter how much he roared, not a single sound came out. Seeing that the soul was in so much pain and despair, the leader of the evil beings laughed heartily. Ha ha! After laughing, the leader of the evil beings opened his mouth again and sucked the spirit body into his body, completely digesting the spirit, and then he continued to enjoy Wu Zhuaxia's broken body. As for the other evil beings, they were all killed by the members of the evil beings, and after that, a group of evil beings frantically snatched their bodies and ate their souls. Evil was evil. In their bones, they had already abandoned the bottom line of being a human. In this world, eating or being eaten depended on one's own cultivation. After the group of evil beings enjoyed their feast, they turned with satisfaction and walked out of the soulless forest. In the depths of the soulless forest, Su Yun carried Cheng Xie and ran. Almost there, they don't seem to be chasing us, Cheng Xie shouted. Hearing that, Su Yun, who was gasping for breath, threw him onto the ground. Cheng Xie cried out in pain and laid on the ground motionless. Su Yun knew he was not dead, and took out the food that Cheng Xie gave him and passed it over. Cheng Xie was startled, and then anxiously grabbed the black meat, stuffed it into his mouth, and in a few bites, swallowed the black meat cleanly. The evil realm is lacking in resources. I am unable to cultivate pills. To recover, I can only rely on food and my own recovery ability. Su Yun squatted down and placed his hand on Cheng Xie's body and injected some evil spirit qi into him. The qi entered his body and nourished Cheng Xie's body. Cheng Xie's ugly face finally recovered a little, and he regained some strength. "Thank you," Cheng Xie said weakly. "Can you walk? There shouldn't be a problem. Your evil spirit qi is very strong and is very effective in nourishing my broken body. Let's not talk about this now. Let's think about how to survive." Su Yun spat out some turbid qi and said, "Wu Zhuaxia and the rest are definitely not the evil Rel people's opponents. Maybe very quickly, Wu Zhuaxia will be killed, and the evil realm people are rushing back to report to their master. So they should not waste much time. We will wait here for an hour and then return. What if they did not leave? What do we do? Don't worry." Su Yun pointed to his own pair of black demonic pupils and said indifferently, "I have a treasure and can see 1,000 miles away. If they are still here, I will be the first to capture their tracks." "So that's it." Cheng Xie heaved a sigh of relief. "Human, you are the second most reliable person I have met other than Master." Su Yun laughed and did not say anything, but looked around, planning to find a place to hide and settle down first. Woo! Just then, a weak howl came out from the forest in front of them. Su Yun and Cheng Xie were shocked and looked at each other. "What's that sound?" Su Yun frowned and asked. "Hearing that sound, it seems like a dead lonely beast." "Dead lonely beast? A third stage spirit, soul realm, evil beast?" Su Yun was stunned. He had been in the evil realm for almost a year, and through Cheng Xie's words and the books he kept, Su Yun had some understanding of the realm. Dead lonely beasts were born in swamps with dense evil qi, and from the moment they were born, their cultivation would be at the spirit core realm, and from the moment they were born, they would start hunting for prey, devouring their souls and bodies, increasing their cultivation. When their bodies were fully grown, they would have a cultivation of the third stage spirit soul realm, and at this time, the growth of the dead lonely beast cultivation would slow down. Fourth stage and above dead lonely beasts were rare, fifth stage were rare, and sixth stage were almost non-existent. But even if it was third stage to the current Su Yun, it was still a troublesome existence. Furthermore, they were in the depths of the soulless forest. Once they fought, it would attract other evil beasts, and at that time, even stronger existences would come, and Su Yun and Cheng Xie would have nowhere to run and die without a complete corpse and not even their souls. Wait a minute. Just then, Cheng Xie suddenly exhaled. His expression was solemn, and his black ears moved slightly, as though he was listening to something. Then, he heard the whimpering sound again, although it was as heavy as thunder, but the sound revealed a sense of pain and moaning. "This dead, lonely beast seems to be heavily injured," he exclaimed softly. "Injured? If that's the case, then we have to escape. Who injured it? Is the being that injured it still chasing after it? If the being that injured it comes, I'm afraid we will be in trouble, so it's better to leave." But a human to encounter a seriously injured demonic beast. What a good opportunity and coincidence. The dead lonely beast's heart is a great nourishment. Devouring its heart can make your evil qi even purer and denser. Its heart is something that countless evil realm people dream of. Don't tell me you're just going to give it up like this? Cheng Xie screamed. In order for Su Yun to successfully obtain the divine crown, Cheng Xie gave everything he had. He exchanged the spirit fruit for materials, satisfied all of Su Yun's needs for cultivation, and threw himself into supporting work. For Su Yun to be able to step into the 10th stage of the Spirit Core Disciple in such a short period of time and touch the door of the Spirit Soul Disciple, Cheng Xie had contributed a lot. Hearing Cheng Xie's words, Su Yun hesitated. Power, who did not desire it? And this kind of power that could be easily obtained without much effort was even more attractive. Just that, Should he go and get it now? If there was really an evil being chasing after this dead, lonely beast, how should he deal with it? Without waiting for Su Yun to think, Cheng Xie could not wait any longer. He stood up and sprinted in that direction. Pushing aside a huge piece of desolate rock, he saw a huge, dead, lonely beast hovering in the air. The dead, lonely beast's body was slender, like a gecko. Its entire body was covered in a pitch-black, evil chi. On its head, there were two hook-shaped horns. Its eyes were like copper bells. It looked huge and terrifying. But at this moment, the dead, lonely beast's body was covered in wounds. The pitch-black skin and flesh were exposed. Evil blood flowed out and covered the ground. It seemed like it did not have long to live. Su Yun followed, and upon seeing the scene, he was startled. He anxiously looked around, only to see that although the trees and rocks were in a mess, there were no signs of an intense battle. Instead, the ground was covered with pitch-black evil blood, and around the evil blood were the gigantic footprints of the dead, lonely beasts. It looked like it had escaped here. Su Yun thought and walked over. Looking at the dead, lonely beast whose voice was getting weaker and weaker, he did not even have time to check. The dead, lonely beast immediately closed its big eyes and stopped moving. Dead. Su Yun was stunned. It seems like its injuries are not light. From the surroundings, it seems like it escaped here, and the injuries on its body seem to be caused by the evil realm people, and not by the evil beast here. Injured by the evil realm people. Hearing Cheng Xie's words, Su Yun hurriedly ran over and carefully checked the wounds on the dead, lonely beast's body. He saw that the wounds were short and sharp like claws. It was the claws of the evil realm people. Will there be other people here? Of course not. Maybe this dead, lonely beast was done by the evil realm people. Su Yun exhaled and revealed a smile. They passed through this forest and met this dead, lonely beast. Both sides fought. The dead, lonely beast was outnumbered and escaped. The evil realm people could not catch up, so they continued on their way. I never thought that we would meet this heavily injured, dead, lonely beast. Seems like they gave us a big gift. With that, Su Yun jumped onto the back of the dead, lonely beast. He pulled out the 1,000-deep sword and stabbed it. Voila! With a sweep of the sword, the dead, lonely beast's stomach was cut open. Chapter 205. A pitch-black heart that was just enough to fill a bamboo basket was picked out by the 1,000-deep sword. Su Yun leaped up and grabbed the heart in his hands. The dead, lonely beast's heart was emitting a disgusting stench. Su Yun frowned as he tasted the moldy fruit. But thinking about its effects, he endured the disgust and bit it into his mouth, swallowing it. It was as though he was swallowing it whole. So disgusting. Su Yun wiped his mouth, turned, and whispered to Cheng Xie, "Let's go. There's a dead evil beast here. Soon, there will be other evil beasts here. Let's leave quickly." "All right. You have to find a place to digest the dead, lonely beast's heart and convert the energy in the heart into your own." Su Yun exhaled and quickly ran with Cheng Xie. The two of them ran towards the outskirts of the soulless forest for a while and found a piece of empty land and stopped. The empty land was flat, and there were no traces left by the gigantic evil beasts. Also, the chi in the air was calm, so there should not be any dangerous creatures here. Su Yun did not hesitate, and immediately sat down cross-legged and started digesting the dead, lonely beast's heart in his stomach. Cheng Xie stood at the side and stood guard for him. The dead, lonely beast's body was huge, and its entire body was filled with treasures. But its most precious part was the heart that stored a large amount of its evil chi. It was said that the dead, lonely beast's spirit essences were not distributed around the chi channels in its body, but all gathered around the heart. Hence, the dead, lonely beast's heart was huge and very strong, giving the dead, lonely beast a strong life force. Su Yun wanted to digest it, but the evil spirit chi in his heart started to resist. He could only incite all the profound spirit chi in his body to encircle it. All the spirit essences in his body opened up, and the profound spirit chi gushed out crazily towards his stomach, dissolving the impurities in his heart, and began to absorb the dead, lonely beast's energy. Cheng Xie saw Su Yun sitting cross-legged on the ground, concentrating on regulating his chi. His skin was releasing a large amount of evil qi, and his face was getting paler and paler. Black veins could be seen on his skin, which was the phenomenon of the evil qi passing through the qi channels. After about half a day, Suyin finally opened his eyes and stopped. "How do you feel?" Chung Xie ran over and asked. Suyin did not reply. Instead, he extended his hand and started accumulating his profound spirit qi. In the midst of the pitch black, there were traces of white, blue, green, red, and purple qi overflowing. It was as though a black paper was painted with all sorts of colors. Although it looked extremely beautiful, there was an indescribable coldness to it. "This is your profound spirit qi?" Chung Xie looked at the qi on his palm in shock, his eyes almost popping out of his eye sockets. "Yes. Why? Why do I feel the scent of other attributes? This isn't just a simple evil spirit aura, right? It seems there are at least 3 types of auras inside. Not 3. Including the evil spirit aura, there are 7 in total." Suyin clenched his fists, and the qi dissipated. He raised his head and said firmly, "I have to leave the evil realm alive. Chung Xie, I will help you obtain your master's divine crown, but I have to tell you seriously here. You better not lie to me otherwise. You want to kill me?" "No." Suyin shook his head. "I will personally destroy your master's divine crown." With that, Chung Xie's face changed. He bit his lower lip, but did not reply. "Huh." Suddenly, Suyin raised his eyes and looked far away. He saw the pair of pitch-black eyes shining with a golden light aura. 2 lines of fish patterns appeared in his pupils. "Someone's coming here. Their speed is extremely fast, and their qi is dense." Su Yun's face congealed and said softly, "Is it the almighty being?" Among these people, there are indeed a few evil realm people who went back to report. It's most likely them. From the looks of it, I'm afraid they're going to obtain the divine crown. Chung Xie heard, and his expression became anxious. "Then let's move quickly. We must not let them get it first. This divine crown is in the shrine of evil spirits. Just based on our strength, it is impossible to obtain it. And if it lands in the hands of the almighty being, our chances will be even slimmer. So there's only one way to obtain it." "What way?" Chung Xie asked. "If when they get the divine crown." Su Yun rubbed his chin in thought, then said, "Previously, those evil realm people were just probing the shrine, probing the internal structure, and gathering information about the dangers in the shrine. You said it before, the almighty being is naturally cautious. Before he does anything, he will investigate his target first, so he must be fully prepared now. Our chances of getting it are not high. So when we make our move later, we must first prepare 2 escape routes." "Escape routes? How do we escape? Are you familiar with this place?" "Not really. I'm such a weak person. How would I dare to come here? The danger here is not something I can handle." "You're at least familiar with the shrine, right?" "Of course." "All right, let's go." "To where?" "To reach the shrine first. While they're not here yet, we need to make some preparations." "But didn't you say it just now? There's a dead, lonely beast there. I'm afraid there will be many evil beings approaching. If the evil beings are near, that's only near the dead, lonely beast. We'll take a detour from the side. How will there be any danger? Compared to us, a dead, lonely beast body will definitely be more enticing to them." After Chung Xie heard, he hesitated for a moment, but finally nodded his head, agreeing with Su Yun's considerations. Because no one was more familiar with the structure of the shrine than Chung Xie, Su Yun had to bring Chung Xie along. The 2 of them quickly rushed into the depths of the soulless forest, and a few thousand meters behind the 2 of them, a group of black figures were moving quickly. The bright moon hung high in the sky, its silver light shining on the ground. The beautiful night scene warmed everyone's heart. But at that moment, the Su family was enveloped in a cold aura. Clang, clang. The teacup fell to the ground, followed by the sounds of tables and chairs being flipped over. Su Yongnian, who was kneeling on the ground, lowered his head. He did not make a sound, allowing Su Lixiong to vent his anger. Su Yun, it's fine if Su Yun dies. We don't need those treasures. Why? Why can't we find Qin Yer? You trash. Don't tell me there's no one in my Su family who can do anything. Trash. Su Lixiong bellowed. He kicked a chair into pieces, like a mad lion. According to our people's observations, Qing Er used our Su family's treasure, the exquisite heart jewel, and directly teleported away. I do not know where she is now, but I have already contacted the Profound Sky sect and a few other sects that are on good terms with the Su family to put Qing Er on the wanted list of the entire continent. I believe that we will definitely have news. Wanted list of the entire continent. Hearing that, Su Lixiong snorted. That sounds good, but can our people cover the entire continent? Can our people cover the entire continent? Don't try to brush me off. Su Yongyin, I made you the great clan elder because I want you to help me solve this matter perfectly. If you can't do it, then you can scram down from this position. Hearing that, Su Yongyin immediately bowed and shouted, Patriarch, please give Yongyin another chance. Chance? That doesn't matter. Since the Profound Sky sect only gave our Su family 3 months, if we can't find Qing Er by then, I can only hand you over to them and give him an answer. Su Lixiong snorted, then waved his hand, indicating for him to leave. Su Yongyin's expression did not change. He bowed again, then stood up and left. When he left, a young man dressed in purple robes with a pale face walked in. Su Yongyin. The young man greeted Su Yongyin, who had a calm expression but was walking hurriedly. But Su Yongyin only looked at him once without saying a word. He turned and left. A trace of suspicion flashed past his eyes, but he did not ask anything and walked straight in. Su Lixiong was also angry. He had his hands behind his back facing the door, as though he was thinking about something. When a young man walked in, he then turned. The young man who walked in was Prince Fu Su. My son, so it's you. Why are you looking for me so late at night? Su Lixiong's expression finally looked better. Although Su Yongyin and the rest of the Su family could not accomplish anything, and were all crippled, but towards his son, Su Lixiong was 100% satisfied. What's Su Yun? What's Su Qing Er? Compared to Fu Su, they were worthless. In terms of talent, Fu Su was definitely the strongest. Fu Su heard Su Lixiong's call, and his long black brows furrowed slightly. He bowed seriously and then said, Father, I have come today to ask for your resignation. Resignation? Su Lixiong was startled. Where are you going? To pursue the heavenly Tao. Heavenly Tao? Such an illusory thing. Why are you still so stubborn about it? Your current achievements are already unparalleled. Su Lixiong said. He had already lost a son. Towards this talented son, he placed great importance on him. In the future, Fu Su would definitely become a powerful person. But Prince Fu Su shook his head. My talent is good? No, father, in this continent, it is not about talent, but power. So what if my talent is good? I have just stepped into the first stage of the spirit soul realm, and experts can easily kill me. So I still need to pursue the heavenly Tao, and my cultivation level still needs to increase. Seems like Fu Su had made up his mind. Su Lixiong shook his head and asked, Then where do you intend to go to pursue your so-called heavenly Tao? I have already decided on a place, but as for the exact location, it is not convenient to say. Fu Su revealed a smile and said, Father, I promise that this will be the last time I leave this place. After this ends, I will return and lead the Su family to glory, to conquer the continent. Ha ha, my son is so ambitious, and this old man here is very comforted. Good, good. Su Lixiong laughed out loud, but did not notice the flash of red light in Fu Su's eyes. Before I leave, I hope that father can promise me something. What is it? I need a few experts from the main house to follow me, to ensure my safety. Fu Su laughed. Chapter 206. Voila! 2 figures dashed out of the forest and quickly ran toward the plains in front of them. When they reached a third of the plains, the 2 of them found a big rock and jumped behind it. With their backs against the rock, they gasped for air. The 2 of them were covered in mud and leaves. They were battered and exhausted. They had been running for their lives. The smell of the dead lonely beast had attracted a large number of evil beasts. As a result, when the 2 of them passed through the forest, they met many evil beasts. Although a portion of the evil beasts were not interested, there were always some greedy evil beasts that wanted to devour the two of them. Suyin did not dare to continue fighting. He was afraid of attracting more evil beasts. He could only escape with Cheng Xie. At least they did not meet any strong beings. That was how they managed to escape the soulless forest. Suyin gasped for air. He had forcefully blocked the attacks of a few evil beasts, causing his chi to be in a mess. He anxiously sat cross-legged and adjusted his chi. After stabilizing himself, he opened his eyes. It should be safe here, right? It's safe. Cheng Xie nodded. He stood up and pointed far away. Look! Suyin looked toward the direction he was pointing. He saw a tall hill far away. There was a gigantic shrine. The shrine looked like it had experienced an earthquake. The ground was full of holes. The pillars had collapsed. The roof tiles were broken. Bricks were scattered everywhere. The enchantment was broken and the erase seals were broken. The shrine had not completely collapsed. However, the door was blocked by the broken pillars. There was a big hole at the side. A large amount of black, evil chi leaked out from the hole. It looked strange and eerie. Is that the shrine of evil spirits? Suyin looked far away. The dusky sky made the shrine look extremely scary. Yes, Cheng Xie nodded. He sat on the ground and said, the chi in the shrine is extremely strong. Even the chi around the shrine is extremely dense. So, there won't be any evil beasts nearby. We are safe here. But if we want to get closer, we will have to endure the chi. Previously, you did not have any evil chi on you. So, you will definitely not be able to get close to the chi. So, I have to help you cultivate the evil spirit chi. Because only by using your own evil chi to synthesize the chi can you successfully enter the shrine. Synthesize? Yes, comprehensive. Some of the evil realm people are very smart. They use their own chi to combine the strong chi of a treasure or a place. This is something that the evil beasts do not have. You might not know how to combine the chi, but I know, because I know this place better than anyone else. Cheng Xie said, Human, follow my movements and chance to control the evil spirit chi. We will go over now. All right. Suyin nodded. Then Guan Xie clenched his fists and moved them quickly. His 10 fingers loosened and then tightened, and he muttered a few sentences of evil language. The demonic chi in his body began to circulate rhythmically, passing through every inch of his meridians. It flowed rapidly and finally spilled out of his body, forming a glossy black barrier around his body. The barrier spun round after round, growing and multiplying as if it would never stop. Guan Xie took a deep breath, stared at the dilapidated building on the high slope in the distance, and stepped forward. Seeing that, Suyin immediately followed. The two of them walked slowly, one in front and one at the back. Then, in less than an instant's worth of time, the two of them crashed into a strange chi field. It was as if they were in water. Every step they took, they would feel the resistance from the chi field. Their movements were restricted, and their movements became strenuous and stiff. Is the shrine of evil spirits like this too? Suyin walked forward step by step with heavy steps and asked Cheng Xie. Cheng Xie's face was pale white, his face was sweating, and he panted, No, the chi field is just some heavy chi that is released from a shrine. They're all piled up here, and it is hard to disperse, so it became like this. There is no chi field inside. Hearing that, Suyin was silent for a moment and thought, if it's like this with such a chi field outside, I'm afraid it's not beneficial for us to leave. Not beneficial for us to leave? Yes, the Almighty Being's cultivation is high. He can directly ignore this chi field, but we can't. With this chi field as a barrier, we can't leave quickly, and will become a sharp blade that kills us. Then what should we do? Is there any other way out of the shrine? There's a shuttle array that has already been destroyed. Shuttle array? Where's it linked to? The coordinates are at the southwest side of the evil realm, Cluster Cloud Mountain. How do you know that the shuttle array has been destroyed? Back then, during the Great Calamity, we wanted to leave through the teleportation formation, but the formation core of the teleportation formation was removed by someone in advance. It might have been done by that Almighty Being. He must have already made preparations to cut off all our paths of retreat. Is there any way to repair the shuttle array? Su Yun asked immediately. This is more difficult, but the shrine's warehouse has an array. Just that I don't know if the things in the warehouse were robbed by the Almighty Being. Is the warehouse where the divine crown is? No, the divine crown is in the center of the shrine. Hearing that, Su Yun started to think again. After a moment, he said, the storehouse should still have the formation aperture. According to what you said, it is not easy to take the treasures from the shrine. The treasures in the storehouse might have been taken away, but the formation aperture might still be there. Let's go to the storehouse first, find the formation aperture, and wait for the teleportation array to be repaired. Then we can make plans if the teleportation array is not repaired. We can only give up on this operation. Give up? Cheng Xie stopped in his tracks and turned to look at Su Yun. Yes, give up. Su Yun nodded his head. I will not throw my life away because of this mission of yours. Without the shuttle array, we have no way out. Even if we take the divine crown, we will still die. Cheng Xie was obviously unhappy, but he had no other choice. He could only sigh and nod his head. If we are alive, we still have a chance. Even if the divine crown is taken away by the Almighty Being, we still have a chance to get it back. But if we die, then we have no chance at all. Sometimes, living an ignoble life is more valuable than a glorious sacrifice. Su Yun patted Cheng Xie's shoulder and continued forward. Cheng Xie was slightly startled. Looking at the figure moving forward, his eyes were confused. Living an ignoble life? All these years, haven't I been living an ignoble life? Cheng Xie muttered. After passing through the Qi field, the two of them finally neared the high slope, nearing the broken yet majestic shrine. It was extremely cold here. Even a drop of water would turn into ice. If a normal person were here, they would have long frozen to death. Su Yun's cultivation was high, so he was naturally fine. But Cheng Xie was different. His cultivation was extremely low. After passing through the Qi field, he was already exhausted. Now that he was suffering from the cold, it was hard for him to endure. He was shivering, and it was extremely unbearable. Seeing that, Su Yun channeled some evil spirit Qi to protect his body. Only then did Cheng Xie feel much better. Thank you. He heaved a sigh of relief and turned to look at the gigantic shrine. The evil eye seal was filled with an uncontrollable excitement. Master, I'm back, he muttered softly. His voice was sorrowful. But the glory of the past no longer existed. His companions had all left. No one would remember the glory and tyranny of the shrine of evil spirits. They only cared about the treasures here. Su Yun took out the 1,000 deep sword and engraved dragon blade. He hung the death sword on his back. Then, he walked towards the entrance of the shrine. Cheng Xie regained his senses and hurriedly followed. Human, you have to be careful. There are many dead shrine warriors here that have transformed into evil beings. There are also many who covet the shrine's treasures. They are controlled by the evil Qi here. They are all very strong. You have to be careful, Cheng Xie exclaimed. I understand. You better stay closer to me. You're more familiar with this place. Which way leads to the storage room? Su Yun held onto his swords and asked. The right side is through the evil garden. Then, walk through the cleansing resentment pool. Then, you'll reach the storage room. The Almighty Being is already on his way here. I believe that in no time, they will reach here. Time is of the essence. Quickly bring me there. All right. Cheng Xie nodded. He immediately ran to the front and led the way for Su Yun. But he had not even walked for a few steps. Suddenly, a sound pierced through the air. Su Yun's ears twitched. His nerves trembled. He waved both swords in his hands and threw them out. So. The 1,000 deep sword and engraved dragon blade flew out in unison. They flew close to Cheng Xie and spun quickly. From the right, a large number of pitch-black arrows were shot towards Cheng Xie. But the two swords spun quickly and formed a circular sword cover. It protected Cheng Xie. The arrows were immediately destroyed. Cheng Xie was not injured at all. He was stunned for a moment. But very quickly, he regained his senses. He looked towards the direction where the arrows came from and shouted, "It's an evil being." Then, he saw a few people carrying a quiver of arrows. They were dressed in light armor. Their skin was pitch black. Evil chi permeated everywhere. They came out from a broken door on the right. There were a total of 4 people. All of them were holding on to bows. Their evil eyes were sluggish. They looked over. When their arrows were blocked, they did not have any reaction. They just continued to hold onto the bow in their hands and knocked another arrow. They were ready to attack again. It's Master's evil wind team. After seeing their faces clearly, Chung Xian knelt on the ground and cried, "Have they all turned into evil beings?" "Seems like it." Suyin took a deep breath and said softly. Then he waved both his hands, activating his profound spirit chi. The 1,000 deep sword and the engraved dragon blade that were revolving around Chung Xie flew out again and killed the members of the evil wind team. These evil rel people had no consciousness. Their minds were only filled with killing. Their cultivation levels were not high. They were only at the 5th stage of the Spirit Core Disciple. Adding that they only used bows and arrows, it was hard for them to fight against Su Yun, who could control flying swords. After a few slashes, they were killed. Chung Xie took a deep breath. He did not say anything. He did not hate Su Yun. He understood that he was forced to do so. After the members of the evil wind team died, Chung Xie's heart was filled with sorrow. He did not say a word. He continued to lead the way towards the evil garden. Just that, before the 2 of them entered the evil garden, suddenly, the entire shrine started to shake. Then, a loud roar sounded out. Woo! The sound was melodious like the roar of an ancient beast. Chung Xie heard it, and his face changed. Not good. What's going on? It seems like there's a strong evil being here that was provoked. The evil being was provoked? Hearing that, Su Yun was enlightened. You mean the almighty being is here? For a strong evil being to be provoked, there was only one possibility. Danger was approaching. An existence like Su Yun was not a threat to them at all. So, it must be the almighty being who had reached the heavens that caused such a phenomenon. Go! Quick! Run straight over. Su Yun whispered. If the almighty being sensed their presence, the 2 of them would definitely die. Chung Xie did not dare to delay and immediately ran towards the evil garden. But just as he entered the evil garden, a few more evil beings jumped out. Su Yun's body was like the wind. He brandished his sword and rushed forward. Sword shadows flew everywhere. Chapter 207. The sharp swords were as fast as lightning. As they flew past his eyes, the sword auras rose. Su Yun did not hold back at all. Activating his spirit essences, he released his chi. Both swords circled around his body. Holding onto the unsheathed death sword, he crazily attacked the evil beings along the way. Black shadows, white shadows, green shadows. Layers of sword shadows were endless. Like waves, they smashed onto the surrounding evil beings. Dong! 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 The 2 swords were full of explosive power, sharp and incessant. Sword shadows flashed, and in just a few breaths of time, each flying sword had slashed out 50 to 60 times. Under such a high frequency of attacks, how shocking was the damage that the originally thick and sharp swords could cause to these evil beings. Along the way, the evil beings all fell to the ground, creating a dark path for the 2 of them. It's right in front. Chung Xie's anxious voice reached Su Yun's ears. Su Yun raised his head and looked ahead. In front of him was a gigantic black pool. This black pool was not pure black like the evil spring. Instead, it was black with a tinge of blue light. Traces of blue smoke floated up. Inside the blue smoke, there were sinister and painful human faces. They were roaring with all their might, as though they were enduring endless pain. But no matter how desperate their expressions were, they could not make a single sound. This cleansing resentment pool is where all the traitors who betrayed Master are buried. They were sunk deep into the pool, enduring eternal pain and cleansing Master's grievances. Chung Xie said as he walked. Passing through the cleansing resentment pool, he headed toward the side chamber with half of the jade walls collapsed. The side chamber's door was already damaged. Half of the door had collapsed. Inside was sand and stones, and there were many evil beings wandering around. Su Yun moved and jumped into the side chamber. Controlling the three swords, he used the fallen leaves sword technique to attack. The battle did not make him tired. Instead, it made him more and more excited. His spirits were high, and the three swords became sharper and sharper. Su Yun knew that this was because of the large number of spirit essences in his body. If his profound spirit qi was not thick enough in the past, he would have fainted long ago. Although there were many evil beings in the warehouse, they were all six-stage spirit core disciple. After Su Yun swept them clean, he immediately signaled Cheng Xie, who was hiding outside, to come in. The cultivation of these evil beings is not high, which is why you were able to kill them so easily. Cheng Xie, who ran and looked at the evil beings that were slowly dispersing into smoke, and spoke. What do you mean? I've never seen their faces before. They're not from the Divine Hall. They're probably foreign treasure hunters who died tragically in the Divine Hall. They were then controlled by the turbid aura here, which is why they became like this. Turbid qi. Hearing that, Su Yun started to think, and his eyes suddenly became startled. According to what you said, doesn't that mean that the turbid qi is here? Cheng Xie shuddered and anxiously exclaimed, It must be so. Human, be careful. Su Yun calmed his mind and looked around. Looking at the inside of the storehouse, it was already extremely dilapidated. The array pattern imprints on the four walls were broken and had no use. The storehouse was filled with a large number of shelves, all of which were crooked, and the items on the shelves were scattered all over the floor. Because of the long period of time, they had been corroded by the evil qi all year round, and most of the items were already rotten, and their appearance and effects could not be identified. Su Yun carefully looked at the messy shelves and calmed his heart. Suddenly, he raised both of his hands and accumulated a large amount of ferocious, profound spirit qi. 7 types of energy mixed together and attached to 2 sharp swords, he struck towards the shelves. After that, the messy shelves immediately exploded and qi shot out in all directions. The entire storehouse shook violently, and the walls were broken, as though the entire palace was in the middle of a raging storm. The shelves shook quickly, and the walls cracked. A large amount of white turbid qi leaked out from the cracks and floated towards them. Seeing that, Cheng Xie trembled and shouted, It's this qi! It's this qi! It's a mixture of the shrine of evil spirits array qi, world qi, evil qi, grievance qi, and evil qi. It will devour your consciousness like a wild beast and turn you into a zombie like them. Run. Quickly run, human. If not, it'll be too late. You're not looking for the array aperture? Su Yun asked. At this moment, how can I find it? Aren't you afraid of this qi? Cheng Xie shouted. Then, Su Yun did not retreat a single step. He stared at the white qi that floated over and started to move his arms. A strong whirlwind was produced and blew towards the white qi. But these qi were not afraid of the strong wind. No matter how strong the wind was, they did not move and were not affected at all. It's no use. These qi are heavy qi. Just like the qi field outside, the wind will not be able to move it. Cheng Xie said helplessly. Can't move it? Su Yun's eyes flickered, and he looked around. Suddenly, his arms sank, and he stopped moving. He retracted his 2 swords, and with a turn of his body, he slashed towards the storehouse behind him. Voila! The huge and slender sword qi flew out and fiercely smashed onto the ground. The sword qi flew straight up and smashed a big hole in the ground. But Su Yun did not stop and continued to attack. A large amount of profound spirit qi surged, and the ground trembled nonstop. One after another, the sharp sword screeched nonstop. Very quickly, a gigantic hole appeared. Cheng Xie was stunned. Su Yun started to cut the ground, forming a slope, and guided the turbid qi to cut. The people who were close to the qi directly controlled their flying swords, and the slope appeared after a while. The heavy qi immediately followed the slope and slid down, and all of them piled up in the big hole. Cheng Xie understood. The shrine is on a high slope, and the qi field is piled up at the bottom of the slope. You imitated the qi field and purposely created a slope to guide the turbid qi away? That's about it. Suyin nodded and said indifferently, "It's just some chi. It's not hard to deal with. The only scary thing about it is that it's silent. It hides in the crevices, and those evil realm people who came here to search for treasures are unable to guard against it. When they were searching for treasures, they were suddenly corroded by the chi in the crevices, and thus their consciousness was devoured. But I'm different. You told me about the danger here, so we can discover the turbid chi in advance and get rid of it." As Su Yun said that, he waited for the turbid chi to sink into the big hole and ran towards the messy shelves. "Quick, find the array core." "All right." Chung Xie hurriedly nodded and ran over to search. This was only a storeroom and not a treasure trove. Inside were the basic items of a shrine, and most of them were already rotten. As Su Yun searched, he prayed that the array core was not corroded by the evil chi. If that was the case, he could only regretfully leave the shrine. Without the teleportation array, he would definitely not dare to retrieve the divine crown. "Ha, found it." Just then, Chung Xie shouted in joy. Su Yun looked over, only to see Chung Xie holding onto a black stone the size of a porcelain bowl, and laughed out loud. "Very good." Su Yun was overjoyed. "Quick, go to the teleportation array and fix it." "All right." Chung Xie nodded and immediately rushed out of the storeroom with Su Yun. But at this moment, an extremely shrill scream resounded through the entire temple. The sound was heart-wrenching and heart-wrenching. It was as if some powerful existence was being inhumanely abused. "What's that sound?" Su Yun asked. "I'm not sure." Chung Xie's entire body was trembling, and his body was shaking. He was frightened by the sound, and said shakily, "But this sound seems to be coming from the main hall." "Main hall?" Su Yun frowned. "The main hall where the divine crown is." "Yes, don't tell me. Those people are already heading to the main hall?" Chung Xie said in fear. Su Yun frowned and took a deep breath. "I'm afraid so. We don't have much time. Chung Xie, let's arrange it like this. You go to the teleportation array and fix it. I'll immediately head to the main hall and see if there's a chance to get the divine crown." "All right." Chung Xie immediately nodded and turned to leave. Su Yun pulled him back. "Remember, whether the divine crown is obtained or not, once I head towards you, you have to activate the teleportation array, and we'll leave, then destroy the coordinates. Do you understand?" Seeing his solemn expression, Chung Xie did not hesitate and nodded his head solemnly. "All right, let's split up," Su Yun said softly and turned to run. Chung Xie looked at the direction Su Yun left, and a pair of pitch-black, evil eyes drifted. Finally, he turned and ran away with the array core. There was a distance between the main hall and the warehouse, but Chung Xie had already explained to Su Yun before, and the evil beings around the main hall were all cleared by the investigation team sent by the Almighty Being. The strong evil beings, the strange mechanisms, and the terrifying arrays were all purposely marked out. Su Yun's journey was smooth, and very quickly, he snuck into the main hall. Once he entered the main hall, an intense explosion sounded out. The chi in the air was ferocious, and waves after waves of ringing sounds came out, as though thousands of horses were galloping beside one's ears, causing one's eardrums to shatter. Su Yun endured the discomfort of the main hall and activated his profound spirit chi. Step by step, he walked forward. Quietly, he entered the main hall and saw the strange and shocking scene in the main hall. Inside the main hall, several demonic beings with powerful auras and astonishing strength were moving about at high speed. They all had one person as the center, crazily attacking. Evil powers shot out like shooting stars, dazzling people's eyes and making it hard for their minds to keep up. And in the middle, a white-haired middle-aged man was holding onto a bronze mirror, his face calm. Any evil force that attacked, he would raise the bronze mirror, blocking it, and the evil force that was attacking him would immediately be reflected, smashing into the evil beings that were attacking him. Every evil being had a cultivation of the 5th stage of the spirit soul realm, and the strongest had even reached the 8th stage of the spirit soul realm. But this man was able to handle it, and did not feel the slightest bit of strain, but the evil beings were all riddled with injuries, and could not hold on any longer. Spirit Star Realm. Su Yun secretly activated the heavenly scale divine eye, and in an instant his heart was thumping and his spirit was trembling. He was actually a spirit star realm cultivator. In this life, it was the first time he had seen such a powerful existence. Aside from a man, the strongest, Su Li Xiong and Zhang Purple Star, were only 10th stage spirit soul realm cultivators, although they were one stage away from the first stage of the spirit star realm. But even if they were added together, they would not be able to fight against a first stage spirit star realm cultivator. Even if they added a few more, they would not be able to fight against him. He had entered the spirit star realm that was truly overlooking the heavens and earth, laughing proudly at all heroes. Is this the almighty being? Su Yun swallowed his breath and calmed his mind down. Such a powerful existence. Even with just one look, he would feel his blood boiling, causing him to be indescribably excited. Although he looked ordinary, dressed in a brown robe, with white hair, black eyes, and black skin, but for some reason, Su Yun felt as though he was looking at a giant. He retracted his gaze and looked towards the top of the main hall. There was a damaged throne, and beside the throne, there was a pitch-black crown, with traces of evil chi leaking out from the crown. This is the divine crown? Su Yun's eyes widened. Chapter 208. The divine crown's chi was strong. The energy it released had a strong amplification effect on the surrounding evil beings. The evil beings had been absorbing the energy from the divine crown for many years, causing their strength to increase exponentially. Their cultivation levels soared crazily, all of them leaping into the spirit soul disciple realm. They protected the divine crown at all times, devouring batch after batch of evil realm people who were greedy for the treasure. But today, they were powerless because the person who came was extremely powerful. Although the divine crown was strong, its owner died in his hands. So how could they stop him? Chi, the group of evil beings danced chaotically. Their evil hands were like whips. The evil chi splashed out like flowers, blossoming on the round mirror in the man's hands. The chi in the air was turbulent, forming ripples that spread out in all directions. All the weaker stone pillars were instantly crushed into fine powder. The sturdier ones had cracks and were on the verge of collapsing. Su Yun supported his dense, profound spirit chi, forcefully controlling the attack of the chi. He stared at the 7 to 8 strong evil beings and was about to make his move. At the moment, they were fighting intensely. No one was guarding the divine crown. If he did not make his move now, when would he? Suddenly, the man shouted, "Go and give me the divine crown. I will seal these evil beings into the divine crown, refine them, increase the power of the divine crown, and make the divine crown my #1 treasure." "Yes, sir." A few shouts came out from behind. Following that, a dozen evil beings dressed in black armor rushed out, past the evil beings, and rushed towards the broken throne. No more chance. Su Yun stopped in his tracks, his heart sinking. The dozen evil beings were all at the 5th stage of the spirit soul realm. He was only at the 10th stage of the spirit core realm. Even if he activated the heavenly crystal, pulled out the death sword, and activated the sprite shadow, he was afraid that he would not be able to defend against so many experts. Adding the almighty being of the spirit star realm to snatch the divine crown from them was practically a fantasy. Su Yun's eyes congealed, his mind in a mess. This kind of thing could not be forced. If there was a chance, then he would do it. If there was no chance, he would not throw his life away, since the only way to leave the evil realm was to become an evil being. Ga. Just at this time, a ball of smoke suddenly burst out from the throne. It quickly transformed into a gigantic bloody mouth, fiercely swallowing the spirit soul realm evil beings. A few evil beings were shocked. They anxiously activated their evil chi, forming a pitch-black round screen, blocking above. Clang! A loud sound came out. The big mouth bit onto the round screen, bringing forth a pressure as strong as a mountain. The evil realm people's legs sank, crushing the ground, the pitch-black evil chi overflowing from their arms trembling. Even though they were spirit soul disciples, it was extremely strenuous. How could this be? Su Yun, who was hiding in the shadows, was startled for a moment. He anxiously interrupted his thoughts of retreating and looked over. However, the strength of this mouth was vast and incomparably huge. It fiercely closed its mouth, wanting to crush these people's strength, shatter their resistance, and swallow them all. Master, well, what kind of monster is this? The evil people screamed. Obviously, they could not hold on any longer. To force more than 10 spirit-soul disciple experts to such a state. What kind of terrifying existence was that? This strength is probably not any weaker than the first-stage Spirit Star Realm Almighty Being. Another first-stage Spirit Star Realm expert? Seeing that, Su Yun anxiously channeled the profound spirit chi in his body towards his eyes, increasing the usage of the heavenly scale divine eye, allowing it to perfectly cover his entire body, concealing his own chi, cautiously preventing the enemy from sensing him. A figure slowly emerged from the huge mouth of the black fog. The figure's face was blurry, and his eyes were blood red. The lower half of his body was hidden in the black fog, while the upper half of his body was naked and shrouded in fog. He stared at the evil realm people who were bitterly holding on. Without saying a word, he just raised his hand. Roar! The gigantic mouth actually released a deep and resounding roar. Not good. A few of the agile evil realm people immediately sensed the killing intent and immediately released their hands that were supporting the round screen and immediately turned and retreated. The 5 spirit soul realm people did not have time to react and were struck by the roar. Their profound spirit chi instantly became empty. They did not have any strength left, and the round screen could not hold on any longer. Clang! The huge mouth bit down, and the 5 evil realm people were instantly swallowed. Bursts of gurgling sounds could be heard, and when the mouth opened again, the few evil realm people were already gone. Only the air was still filled with their chi. Seeing that, the white-haired almighty being did not waste any more time. He leaped up high, and the round mirror in his hand shone downwards. Voila! A circle of white light shot out from the round mirror and hit the evil realm beings. The evil realm beings let out mournful screams, all of their evil chi flowing out, their bodies shrunk, and finally disappeared without a trace. After dealing with the evil realm beings, the almighty being then landed and looked at the remaining 6 people. An uncontrollable anger appeared on his face. This is evil Emperor Xine Wu's personal bodyguard, Li Chong Tian. I never thought that after becoming an evil realm being, he would still be so loyal to evil Emperor Xine Wu's divine crown. It's really rare, a pity that such a person is not under me. The almighty being looked at his underlings, snorted, and rushed forward, straight towards Li Chong Tian. I'll hold him back. All of you take the divine crown. There are many evil realm beings here. The turbid chi is everywhere. We can't stay here for long. Hurry up and do it. Yes, sir. The almighty being's underlings all lowered their heads, and then leaped over Li Chong Tian, straight for the divine crown. Oh! Although Li Chong Tian had lost his consciousness, for some reason, his brain still had a shred of protection for the divine crown. When the evil realm people leaped over him and rushed towards the divine crown, Li Chong Tian immediately controlled his mouth, turned around, and rushed towards them. Li Chong Tian, I was the one who killed you that time. This time, I'll kill you again. I'll make sure you turn into ashes. Disappear from this world forever. Ha ha. The white-haired almighty being had a sinister smile on his face as he leaped forward. His right palm struck out a few times, gathering a wave of evil chi, while the round mirror in his left hand shone on his right palm. A strange scene appeared. The white-haired almighty being's right palm struck out, releasing a huge palm print with tens of thousands of evil inscriptions, while the round mirror in his left hand waved outwards, releasing a palm print that was exactly the same as the one in his right hand, but with the opposite palm print. The 2 palms struck together. The power was astonishing. Duplicating a cultivation technique. Su Yun, who was in the dark, saw through it. With such a technique, it was obvious that the treasure was at least a top-grade treasure. But an even more shocking scene appeared. The evil Li Chong Tian did not care about the two killing techniques and directly pounced towards the evil realm people, his huge mouth biting over, grabbing onto a few of them, flinging them around crazily, tearing them into pieces. He was caught off guard, but still allowed the two killing techniques of the almighty being to land on his body. Dong! The gigantic black fog mouth immediately shrunk. The upper half of the body seemed to be dispirited, and its chi weakened by at least 30%. Ha ha ha! Seems like you really care about your master. You're just a loyal dog. A pity you can't be my dog. That's your tragedy. With that said, the white-haired almighty being made his move again. This time, he used all the energy in his body, planning to kill Li Chong Tian in one move and take the divine crown. Just as the white-haired almighty being made his move, Li Chong Tian's body suddenly emitted an unprecedented thick fog. Following that, his entire body turned into a huge bloody mouth, in which countless vengeful spirits were howling. They reached out their sinister and terrifying hands, grabbing towards the white-haired almighty being. The white-haired almighty being was caught off guard. He was grabbed by the evil hands, unable to move. He raised his inestimable thick palms and ruthlessly slashed towards the evil hands. Crack! The evil hands were as weak as bamboo chopsticks, breaking into pieces. Just as the white-haired almighty was about to continue tearing the disgusting big mouth, he felt his vision go black. The big mouth was already attacking him. Dong! The entire shrine of evil spirits sank by 3 inches. A large amount of chi was blown out, like a meteorite crashing into the ground, creating a shockwave. Looking carefully, he saw Li Chong Tian's big mouth pouncing towards him. His upper and lower jaws were held up by the white-haired almighty being. The big mouth was filled with evil chi. It was terrifying beyond compare, but the almighty being's hands had actually formed 2 rotating barriers. No matter how sharp the steel teeth were, they could not pierce through. The two of them were in a stalemate. It was just that Li Chong Tian's strength was originally not as good as the white-haired almighty being. Now that he was injured, how could he win? The stalemate was only because of the lingering will left behind after his death. Li Chong Tian's big mouth was slowly being pried open. A large amount of cracks appeared on his huge body. The white-haired almighty being's evil chi turned into thousands of blades, all piercing into Li Chong Tian's body. Based on the situation, Li Chong Tian would not be able to hold on for long. Hiss hiss, just as the two of them were clashing, a soft sound suddenly rang out from the side door of the main hall. It was a very weak sound. Spirit Core disciples could not hear it, but the white-haired almighty being heard it. There's still someone else? He was slightly shocked, but at this moment, he was like an arrow on the bowstring. He had to get rid of Li Chong Tian first. Just as this thought formed in his mind, an even more terrifying chi suddenly erupted. Like a small flame landing on a pile of dry grass, it quickly burned. This chi was initially not strong, but after a few breaths of time, it actually expanded to a shocking extent. Who? The white-haired almighty being was no longer as shocked as before. He used all his strength to resist Li Chong Tian's bite and shouted loudly. But then he heard the sound of countless swords piercing through the air, exploding from the side. 10 flying swords enveloped with strange, profound spirit chi flew out from both sides. The hilts of these swords were extremely sharp. The chi that enveloped them was even more strange. It was actually mixed with all sorts of colors. It was incomparably dazzling. What is this? The white-haired almighty being was stunned. But he was not afraid. From the chi that leaked out from the tip of the sword, the opponent was only at the peak of the 10th stage spirit soul disciple. Although it was a little troublesome, he could still handle it. The white-haired almighty being bellowed. Beside him, 2 gigantic evil people appeared. Their faces were extremely similar to him. The moment they appeared, they swung their arms left and right. Voila! The surging evil chi wreaked havoc. Like raindrops, it smashed into the flying swords, shattering the profound spirit chi that enveloped the swords. The profound spirit chi was blown away. Like broken kites, they swayed and finally fell to the ground. Ha ha ha! You're just a useless person. You dare to sneak an attack on me? The white-haired almighty being laughed proudly. But in the next second, Li Chong-tian, who was in front of him, suddenly went crazy. He shook his big mouth restlessly, trying to break free from the white-haired almighty being. The white-haired almighty being was stunned. He quickly turned back, only to see that beside the broken throne, a pitch-black figure quickly landed, grabbed the pitch-black divine crown on the ground, turned and ran. Roar! Li Chong-tian roared angrily again. The two of them were restraining each other, unable to care about that person, like a sandpiper and clam fighting, allowing the fisherman to take advantage of the situation. Damn it! Damn it! Upon seeing this, the white-haired almighty being roared, his anger overflowing to the sky. Chapter 209. Despicable man, you actually dared to steal the divine crown when I was not paying attention. But do you think you can get away with this? Wishful thinking. The divine crown is mine. The white-haired almighty being was enraged. His chi suddenly increased. He shook off the evil transformation Li Chong-tian and rushed towards Su Yun in a berserk manner. The dense evil chi that was as heavy as a mountain followed his movements. The surrounding walls and boulders were all crushed by the chi. It was an unstoppable force. Roar! Li Chong-tian was not weak either. He had already given up on killing the white-haired, almighty being and went straight for the person who stole the divine crown. With two Spirit Star Realm cultivators chasing after him, Su Yun felt immense pressure. It could be said that he had never faced such a situation before. The heavenly crystal had already been activated. But surprisingly, with the power of the heavenly crystal, Su Yun did not step into the Spirit Star Realm. He was only at the peak of the 10th stage Spirit Soul Realm, just a step away from the Spirit Star Realm. It seemed like the heavenly crystal's power was limited. The higher his cultivation, the weaker its power. After all, it was a treasure and would not protect him forever. Su Yun thought. He moved quickly and rushed towards the teleportation array that Cheng Xie had told him about. But before he could even get close, the white-haired almighty being had already rushed over. He unleashed his mystical techniques one after another. He became a black shadow and flashed from the other side. His speed was unbelievably fast. You lowly man, hand over the divine crown and submit to me. If not, you will die a horrible death. The white-haired almighty being roared. You're thinking too much. Su Yun snorted. He swung the death sword. Thousand Deep Sword and engraved dragon blade supported him from the left and right. The Thousand Deep sword glimmered with a cold aura. With a burst of energy, engraved dragon blade's spirit undulated and attacked his consciousness. The three swords rushed forward together. The sub-swords in the sword sheath all flew out. Tyrannical abyss fist. The white-haired almighty being was not afraid. He bellowed. His claw became a fist. Whooshing, it was as though he wanted to shake the entire heaven and earth. The evil spirit force and the fist had merged and became one. It was terrifying. Su Yun raised the death sword and blocked it. But with a clang, the sword was struck by the fist, and he flew out. But Su Yun did not seem to be injured from the attack. But instead, he used the force of the fist to escape. Don't go! The white-haired supreme expert was enraged. His entire body surged with evil chi. He flashed again and chased after Su Yun. But just as he was about to move, the flying swords had already struck his body, cutting open his flesh and piercing through his accumulated chi. The white-haired supreme expert frowned, but ignored him. This kind of injury was not enough to threaten his life, and he was about to give chase, but just as the white-haired supreme expert moved, a black shadow passed by his side and chased after Su Yun. It was Li Chong-tian. Haha, I almost forgot that this loyal dog is still here. Never mind. I'll let you two bite each other. I'll just watch from the sidelines. Ants, you can't get away. The white-haired supreme being laughed coldly and did not chase after him anymore. Instead, he took out a pitch-black pill and swallowed it to recover his energy before following after them. Cheng Xie. Su Yun rushed into a side door and shouted loudly. Inside the side door stood a broken blade, his entire body overflowing with evil chi, a tall and big evil realm person. The evil realm person stood on a big array, his gaze weak. Human, he shouted to the person who rushed in, his voice agitated. My lord, did you bring the divine crown? It's here. Su Yun raised the divine crown in his hand and shouted, quickly activate the teleportation array. Let's leave this place. I'm activating it. Cheng Xie fell to the ground in a flurry, fiddling with something, his face full of perspiration. But there's an accident because this teleportation array has not been used for a long time. It needs to be activated. I might not be able to use it immediately. Just tell me, how much longer do you need to activate the array? Give me 20 breaths. 20 breaths? I'm afraid I can't even hold on for 10 breaths. Su Yun said angrily. Just then, a mournful scream came out. A large amount of black fog floated out from the side door. The evil guard Li Chong Tian had already rushed over. He opened his mouth wide. His eyes were as sharp as knives, his killing intent soaring. It's Captain Li Chong Tian. Cheng Xie raised his head, looked at Li Chong Tian, and shouted. Unfortunately, Li Chong Tian could no longer recognize him. Su Yun controlled 10 swords to form a sword wall in front of him, wanting to block Li Chong Tian, who was rushing over. With a bang, the sword wall suffered a violent impact. A large amount of evil chi penetrated through the cracks of the sword wall, landing in front of Su Yun, quickly congealing into a thick fog, once again forming a big mouth, biting toward Su Yun. It was truly all-pervasive. Su Yun did not stand on ceremony. He took the opportunity to pull out the death sword, slashing towards the middle of the evil being. Then, just as the death sword neared, wong 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 wong, a terrifying and intense sword cry erupted from the death sword's body. In that moment, Su Yun felt as though the death sword was coming to life. It was hard for him to hold onto the death sword. On the pitch-black body of the sword, the bright red death word appeared once again. The demonic sword body released a large amount of chi. It was overflowing like a pair of hands, guiding the evil chi around Li Chong Tian towards the sword body. Hoo. The evil chi rushed towards the sword body frantically. The death sword absorbed it crazily. The sword cry in the air became louder. With the death sword as the center, it actually formed a huge evil chi whirlpool. The evil chi rushed in. The cry became louder and louder. Strong, stronger and stronger. Su Yun stared at the angry death sword that was trying its best to absorb the evil chi. He felt that it was getting harder to control. Within the evil chi, there were waves of cries of pain. Initially, the cries were hoarse and low, but as the evil chi was absorbed, the cries became clearer. What sword is that? The white-haired, almighty being who rushed to the side door was stunned. Hoo. The evil chi was completely absorbed by the death sword. It was as though the death sword was enveloped in black flames. An unprecedented evil chi floated around the sword body. Like boiling water, splashing noises could be heard. After the evil chi was absorbed, Li Chong Tian had completely changed. He no longer looked like the evil chi that lingered around him, nor did he have a bloody mouth. Now, he had regained the appearance of a human. His skin was black, his face was thin, his hair was messy, his eyes were pitch black, and his eyes did not have much luster. The evil chi was sucked out. He fell to the ground powerlessly, trying his best to open his eyes, looking at the broken palace. Captain Li Chong Tian. Cheng Xie stumbled over, kneeling in front of him, his eyes filled with tears. Cheng Xie. Li Chong Tian's mouth came out with a weak voice. Captain Li Chong Tian, it's me. It's Cheng Xie. Are you all right? I'll bring you out of here immediately. Cheng Xie cried out in pain. No need. I'm already dead. If not for the evil chi, I wouldn't be able to hold on until now. Li Chong Tian revealed a bitter smile. Cheng Xie's tears flowed even more. Who is he? He's the person I invited to snatch the divine crown, to revive Master. Revive Master? Li Chong Tian's eyes flashed with a hint of passion. He used all his strength to stand up. Can he really revive Master? He used his loudest voice to shout, not only to ask Cheng Xie, but also to ask Su Yun. Su Yun looked at him calmly. Looking at the pair of pitch-black but passionate eyes, he knew, facing such a person, he could never lie. I will. Ha, good. Li Chong Tian seemed to have been reborn. He shook off Cheng Xie, not letting him support him, swayed his body, and walked forward. His back view was extremely bleak. That sword of yours is powerful, but it has absorbed more than half of my strength. It's already in a state of evolution. It's not suitable to fight anymore. Now I'll bring up the rear block. Evil Lord Tamlang, you guys go. Evolution. Su Yin was in a daze. The death sword that was covered in evil fire suddenly darkened, and with a clang, it fell to the ground, not moving at all. Hua! At the same time, the teleportation array was activated. A dense spatial chi rushed up to the sky. Seeing that, the white-haired almighty being's heart shrunk. Impossible! That teleportation array lost its array core. How can it still be used? Captain Li Chong Tian, please leave with us quickly. Chung Xie saw that the teleportation array was activated and immediately shouted at Li Chong Tian. No, you guys go. Li Chong Tian seemed to be having a final burst of energy, his entire body surging with it. He turned his head, looking at Su Yun resolutely. Human, I'll leave everything to you guys. Go. Desolate, but without regret. With that, he turned his head, stared at the white-haired almighty being, and took a deep breath. He was not his opponent, but from the start, he had never felt fear. Captain Li Chong Tian. Chung Xie cried out in pain. Go! Su Yin turned his head, buckled on the god crown, carried the death sword, and walked towards the teleportation array. Chung Xie looked at the white-haired almighty being in grief, endured the pain in his heart, and walked towards the teleportation array. Go! Let's see where you guys can go. The white-haired supreme being roared angrily and pounced over. An overwhelming wave of evil chi engulfed the area. But in the next second, Li Chong Tian's figure appeared in front of him. Just you and you want to stop me? The white-haired almighty being struck his palm towards Li Chong Tian's head, intending to smash him into pieces. But before the palm could even get close, Li Chong Tian's body started to crack, and waves of bloodlight leaked out from the cracks, illuminating the surroundings. In the void, there were waves of delicate and light sounds going straight to the nine heavens. Bang! An intense explosion occurred, and a terrifying destructive chi enveloped the entire shrine. This was the last song of Guard. Chapter 210. Dong! A dull sound came out. Then 2 rays of evil chi descended from the sky, like meteorites falling onto the mountain peak. The mountain was pitch black, but it was undulating like the clouds. Under the dim light of the evil realm, it looked mysterious. This was the evil realm's cluster clouds mountain. Su Yin used one hand to support himself from the ground, stopping the impact from the shuttling. After a while, he regained his composure and raised his head to look around, only to see that it was empty and quiet, and beneath his feet, there was a small gold array revolving. Chung Xie laid on the ground beside him. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with pain. Seeing him like that, he thought about the spirit fruits hanging on the trees in the soulless forest. He thought about Li Chong Tian, who was not afraid of death. Suddenly, Su Yin was extremely curious about the so-called evil Emperor Exine Wu. What kind of existence was he? Why would he let the people who followed him give up everything for him? Chung Xie. Su Yin took a deep breath and whispered to Chung Xie, "Don't be sad anymore. Quickly destroy the coordinates. If not, Evil Lord Tamlang will use the teleportation array to kill his way here. Once he comes, we will have nowhere to run. All our hard work will be wasted." "I understand." Chung Xie wiped his face and stopped his sadness. He crawled up and quickly removed the few materials from the golden seal array. The materials were not complete, so the seal array immediately stopped working and was completely destroyed. Chung Xie threw the few materials to the side and sat on the ground, paralyzed. It's finally over. Su Yin leaned on a rock and heaved a sigh of relief. Although there were accidents along the way, everything went according to plan. He raised his hand and looked at the divine crown. He felt the chi inside the divine crown. He shook his head and walked towards Chung Xie. "The divine crown is in my hands. Now it's time to fulfill my promise. Tell me the way to leave the evil realm." Chung Xie. "The way." Chung Xie raised his head and looked at Su Yin. He pursed his lips and said, "I don't know. But my master knows. After reviving him, he will guide you to leave the evil realm. What? Hearing that, Su Yun was startled for a moment, his expression sullen. All these years, you've been lying to me? I didn't lie to you, human. You have helped Master. Master will definitely repay you. Please believe me. Cheng Xie shouted anxiously. Hearing that, Su Yun was silent for a moment. Indeed, with Cheng Xie's current strength, getting him to help him leave the evil realm was a fantasy. But even so, Su Yun was not at a disadvantage. If not for Cheng Xie's help, he might not even be able to survive in the evil realm. And his own cultivation level would not have increased so much in such a short period of time, especially the evil spirit essences. Even if he had the monarch occult force, without the nourishment from Cheng Xie's treasures and ingredients, he would not be able to mature so quickly and produce evil spirit chi. Thinking about that, Su Yun did not say anything and directly passed the divine crown to Cheng Xie. Cheng Xie carefully took a deep breath, and placed the divine crown on the ground. He took out his broken saber, looked at the broken blade, suddenly cried out, and smashed his left wrist. Chi! How could a wrist resist a knife? Evil blood splattered all over the saber's body. Su Yin was surprised. The evil blood was like magma and actually melted the entire blade. The blade turned red and finally became molten iron, dripping all over the ground. This saber is actually not my weapon. It is just a cover that I cultivated. Inside the broken saber, there is a material that I painstakingly cultivated. It can be said to be an exit for the divine crown. I used the temple's secret records to specially cultivate it for Master. With it, Master can easily leave the divine crown and not be restricted. As Cheng Xie spoke, the broken saber had completely melted, and a sharp red crystal fell out from the broken saber. Cheng Xie hurriedly picked it up, and with trembling hands, he carefully placed the crystal into a small notch in the middle of the divine crown. Su Yin stared intently at the scene. The crystal slowly entered the notch, and with a kacha sound, it was completely embedded. In that moment, the black mist on the divine crown suddenly disappeared and became a gray-white. After pausing for about 3 seconds, the divine crown stood up again. A wave of chi revolved around it and completely enveloped it. Following that, the chi wave grew crazily and distorted. A few seconds later, it formed the shape of a person, and the divine crown had already covered the person's head. It was truly strange and dazzling, mystical and mysterious. My master, seeing the person's appearance, Cheng Xie kneeled on the ground emotionally and cried out loud. His face was full of tears, and he was whimpering nonstop. Evil Emperor Xian Wu, after being silent for so many years, today he finally saw the light of day again. Su Yin looked at the man quietly. He activated the heavenly scale divine eye to check his cultivation level, but was surprised to find that he could not see through him. It did not seem like the man's cultivation level was too high to be able to see through, but the man did not seem to have any profound spirit chi. No need to look, young man. I am just a spiritual body and do not have profound spirit chi. I only have a small amount of spiritual power. A deep and resonant voice came from the man's mouth. Su Yun was stunned. Spiritual body? Like the sword elder? He looked at the person who was translucent, white like a ghost. He saw the person stepping on the ground. His body was straight, and he looked to be around 30 years old. His expression was unusually gentle and did not have much majesty. It was hard to imagine that this was the shrine of evil spirits killing God. Thank you for saving me, young man. I, evil Emperor Xian Wu, will remember this kindness in my heart. The person opened his mouth. His voice was not as cold as the evil realm people. On the contrary, it was filled with warmth. You don't have to thank me. I save you in hopes that you can help me leave the evil realm and return to the sky martial continent. If you want to thank someone, thank your guards. Without their sacrifice, you would not be able to see the light of day again. I understand. Evil Emperor Xian Wu nodded his head. Looking at the emotional Cheng Xie, he walked over and supported him up with his translucent white body. Although my shrine of evil spirits is not able to rule over an area, I have no regrets. Because I have the most loyal people in the evil realm. Not only are you my guards, you're also my brothers. Evil Emperor Xen Wu did not put on any airs, and his voice was filled with gratitude. Master, Cheng Xie cried out. Seeing this, Su Yin finally understood Evil Emperor Xien Wu's character. If he wanted people to be loyal to him, martial arts would always be weaker than true love. Maybe it was because Evil Emperor Xien Wu treated him like a brother, that the guards did not abandon him. Don't be sad, Cheng Xie. Although your cultivation level is weak now, you must remember you were once a strong martial artist. Maybe our glory no longer exists, but we used to have it, right? Evil Emperor Xien Wu consoled him. Yes, master. Cheng Xie took a deep breath and was no longer sad. Where are the others? They're all dead. Just now, Captain Li Chong Tian died. Evil Lord Tan Lang is here again. Tan Lang. Evil Emperor Xien Wu clenched his fists tightly. However, in his current state, he was not Tan Lang's opponent. Master, let's look for treasures again and plan to rise again. With Master's abilities, we can definitely fight Tan Lang again, Cheng Xie said. But Evil Emperor Xien Wu was silent. After a long while, he shook his head. I'm left with one spirit and one spirit. I have no strength left. How can I rise again? Cheng Xie, your loyalty can be seen by the heavens, but I am powerless. My abilities are not worthy of your loyalty. Master, please don't say such things. To be able to follow Master is Cheng Xie's fortune. Master, there are many secret techniques in the evil realm. They can definitely help Master reconstruct his body. We still have a chance. Cheng Xie's eyes dimmed as he said softly, a chance? Voila! Just then, the divine crown on Evil Emperor Xien Wu's head suddenly released a black light. The black light shot into the sky and into the distance. It actually formed a black bridge in the sky. No one knew where the other end of the bridge was connected to. Seeing that, Evil Emperor Xien Wu's face changed. Cunning, truly cunning. I lost to this man. Not at all. The Evil Emperor's eyes were filled with unwillingness. He clenched his teeth and shouted, Master, what's going on? Cheng Xie looked at the black bridge in shock and asked. He left a shuttling imprint on the divine crown. What? What did he do it? Cheng Xie was stunned. If he left a shuttling imprint, why didn't he just take it away? Isn't his goal the divine crown? Cheng Xie, you don't understand. Leaving an imprint and taking an item are two different concepts. With his methods, he could have done it outside the shrine of evil spirits. Maybe when you guys were taking the divine crown, he quietly left the imprint on it to prevent any accidents. This man is extremely cautious. He's unprecedented. Then, Master, what do we do now? Let's escape. Cheng Xie was terrified. Escape? Evil Emperor Xien Wu shook his head. We can't escape. Once I leave the divine crown, I'll definitely die. If I don't leave the divine crown, I won't be able to get rid of this bridge. With our strength, we can't remove this imprint. I'm afraid today will be the day of my death. Master, you can't do this. You just returned. You still have to lead us again. Bring back the glory of the shrine of evil spirits. Cheng Xie screamed. His eyes were filled with unwillingness. Evil Emperor Xien Wu did not say anything. He turned his gaze and looked at Su Yun, who was calm. He smiled bitterly. Young man, I never thought that we would have to leave right after we met. I'm sorry. Su Yun said softly. No matter what your motive is, you've at least saved me. Even if I'm about to die, it doesn't matter. But before I die, I have a wish that I want to fulfill. I hope you can help me. Master Evil Emperor, please speak your mind. All right. Evil Emperor Xien Wu nodded and said, First, it's my wish. I hope that I can kill Tan Lang and avenge everyone in the shrine of evil spirits. I'm not a good person. Even though I've killed many people, I must kill him. With that, he revealed his malevolence. You can't do it in your current state, unless you can successfully avoid Tan Lang. I can't avoid it, but I really can't do it. But you can. Evil Emperor Xien Wu said something that Su Yun could not understand. Without waiting for Su Yun to ask, he continued, "Secondly, this is what I want to do. Young man, you saved me. To repay you, I will help you leave the evil realm. It's actually very simple to leave the evil realm. You just need to find the void exit. There are a few void exits in the evil realm. But from what I know, one of the void exits is in the Evil Sword Sect. It's guarded by the Evil Sword Sect. You can go to the Evil Sword Sect and ask them to open the door for you to return to Sky Marshall Continent. But without a pure cultivation, you will not be able to walk in the evil realm. So, young man, to repay you, not only will I tell you the way to leave Sky Marshall Continent, I will also give you my talent and cultivation." Hearing that, Su Yun's eyes widened. He looked at Cheng Xie and asked, "Master Evil Emperor, Cheng Xie is just beside you. Why don't you give him your talent and cultivation? Why give it to me? He has completed his mission. That's enough. The talent and cultivation can't be used better on him. On the contrary, you're such a talented person. If you can receive my inheritance, I believe that the glory of the shrine of evil spirits will shine on you. Take my divine crown. Help me kill evil Lord Tanlang," he said softly. He extended his hand and touched the divine crown on his head. Cheng Xie's eyes dimmed. He knelt on the ground with his head on the ground. He did not dare to raise his head. He did not cry anymore. He did not shout anymore. He knew that the shrine of evil spirits would eventually fall, but a new shrine of evil spirits would be born. Su Yun looked at the pale hands that were touching the divine crown. His heart was beating fast. What was supporting all of this? Maybe it was just faith. Duh. The divine crown was taken off. In that moment, the evil Emperor Xian Wu's spirit body started to turn into particles. He smiled at Su Yun. He held onto the divine crown with both hands. He seemed to be waiting for the young man's reply. Even though there was not much time, Su Yun did not hesitate. He took a deep breath. Holding onto the death sword, he knelt down on one knee in front of the evil Emperor Xian Wu. "From today onwards, you're the sovereign king of the shrine of evil spirits." The evil Emperor Xian Wu smiled. He placed the divine crown on Su Yun's head. In that moment, the divine crown changed. It transformed into a black seal that resembled a dragon. It imprinted itself on Su Yun's forehead. A surge of qi surged out from the seal and spread throughout his body. In that moment, the white spirit body completely disappeared in the air. It floated along with the wind like a sky full of stars. Chapter 211. Hiss, 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 like a venomous snake, the evil qi revolved around the imprint. This restless qi was like a pot that was about to explode and could not be suppressed. The surging evil qi flowed down and filled every part of his body. Qi channels, bones, blood vessels, 5 viscera, and 6 bowels. Everywhere it passed, it was filled with astonishing strength and power. The divine crown had been worn down over the years, and after it was damaged, its power was slowly fading away. There was not much left, but even with this, to Su Yun, this power was unparalleled. Relying on this power, Su Yun's spirit essences seemed to be sublimated. Around the spirit essences, circles and circles of white lines appeared. The lines released a mystical power, nourishing the spirit essences and stabilizing the production of profound spirit qi. The spirit essences became stronger. Su Yun straightened his body. His entire body exploded with white light. He soared into the sky, straight into the clouds. Spirit soul realm. The power of the divine crown actually allowed him to leap over the last hurdle and step into a whole new realm. Su Yun opened up both of his hands. He could feel the new power bestowed upon him. He felt as though he was reborn. The number of spirit essences did not increase, but each and every one of them became bigger and stronger. It was shocking and unbelievable. He raised his hand and gently clasped it. A large amount of restless, profound spirit qi danced in his palm. The surging power was frantically released. Even though the power of the heavenly crystal was slowly fading, he did not feel powerless. The divine crown will give you the remaining power, but that is not all. Before Master dissipates, he will give you all of his talent and all of his power. You will be able to obtain Master's talent forever, and temporarily use his power to defend against the evil Lord Tan Lang. Chung Xie looked at Su Yun weakly. Then, he knelt down on both knees and kowtowed to Su Yun. Human, please represent my master and kill the evil Lord Greed. I, Chung Xie, am begging you. Su Yun looked at Chung Xie. Both his eyes were burning with evil fire. He kept the 1,000 deep sword and engraved dragon blade. He held onto the death sword. At that moment, he could feel the restlessness and heat of the death sword. It had completed its evolution. Was it eager to test the sword? Su Yun stared at the unsheathed sword. His heart was filled with killing intent. Voila! At this moment, a black light suddenly flashed across the shuttle bridge. As the black light passed by, the shuttle bridge also immediately dissipated. When the shuttle bridge completely dissipated, a figure that was releasing a sky full of black fog landed in front of them. The cold and evil aura covered the entire cloudy mountain like a huge cover. Layers of frost formed on the ground, and the temperature in the air dropped to an extreme. It seemed that with the appearance of that person, the entire cloudy mountain had become his domain. The person who came was evil Lord Tan Lang. However, when he saw the trembling black, evil mark on Su Yun's forehead, he was startled, followed by anger. Divine crown? You actually consumed the divine crown? No. The divine crown has more powerful uses. How can it be used up by you? As long as it's in your hands, it doesn't matter how useful it is. Su Yun stepped forward. His every step was filled with killing intent. His voice was cold, and his sword intent was dense. Anger burned in evil Lord Tan Lang's eyes, but after a moment, he revealed a look of understanding and said coldly, "You think that just because you obtained the inheritance of the evil Emperor Xan Wu, you can fight against me? Ha! The evil Emperor Xan Wu was beaten by me until he was only left with one spirit and one spirit. He does not have much power left. How much power can he pass on to you? He only increased your profound spirit chi and strengthened your body. Today, not to mention you, even if he personally stood here, he would still be an ant in front of me. Foolish man, if I were you, I would immediately kneel down, kowtow 3 times and kowtow 9 times, and submit to me. That way, at least you can keep your life." Submit? I have never thought of that before. Don't say any more. Let's fight. Su Yun bellowed. He suddenly moved and rushed towards evil Lord Tan Lang. In that moment, his body released a light gray light. The gray light enveloped his entire body, and it was filled with an unparalleled power. This was the last bit of power that the evil Emperor Xan Wu had. Maybe it could not last for long, but it was the last attack that the evil Emperor Xan Wu had against the enemy. Su Yun made his move. The death sword was unsheathed. Without holding anything back, the sword pierced forward. It was like a roaring evil dragon, swirling up millions of evil chi. The sword tip exploded with a brilliant sword aura, slicing the grass and rocks behind Tan Lang into pieces. The evil mist around Tan Lang's body was swept away, revealing his original appearance. "You're seeking death." Tan Lang was enraged. Such an ant had obtained some luck and dared to offend him. How could he not be angry? Immediately, the evil lord's palms turned into claws and clawed in the air. 2 gigantic chi claws descended from the sky and tore towards Su Yun. Su Yun's figure flashed and dodged. The claws landed on the ground and tore the mountain apart. He did not panic. His steps were steady, and he rushed forward. The evil sword swept out, and a pitch-black sword image swept towards Tan Lang. Clang! The sword image stopped. Looking at it, Tan Lang had actually withstood the sword intent and the sharp aura, and was holding onto the sword body tightly. An ant will always be an ant. The power that the evil Emperor Xan Wu gave you is not enough to fight against me. With that said, the evil lord's palm struck towards Su Yun's head. The palm released a shockwave that caused the surrounding air to tremble as though it was boiling water. Buzz, 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 buzz. Just then, a majestic sword pressure release for the death sword body. In a moment, it affected the evil lord's body, causing him to tremble. His palm, that was attacking Su Yun, could no longer move forward. A trace of evil chi surged out. The death sword had displayed its might. The evil chi was like a fine black needle that pierced into the evil lord's body, then started to frantically absorb the evil spirit chi in his body. What? The evil lord was shocked. The death sword was actually able to absorb the power of Spirit Star Realm Cultivator. Was this its power after absorbing a portion of Li Chong Tian's power? After the black needle pierced in, due to the absorption, it also disrupted the flow of chi in the evil lord's body. The evil lord's body was in a mess, and it was hard for him to accumulate any techniques. In the next second, Su Yun's fist had already arrived. The evil lord immediately raised both his hands to block and punched his palm. Bang! The evil lord retreated a few steps. The thick and powerful force caused him to be unable to stand steadily. Su Yun was currently in the spirit soul realm. With the addition of evil Emperor Xian Wu's last bit of power, his strength had increased to an unknown extent. Especially his strength, it was unimaginable. Seems like you have some tricks up your sleeve. Evil Lord Tanlang had suffered a few losses and knew that he could not look down on Su Yun. He kept his guard up and prepared for battle with all his might. Su Yun rushed forward again. He was overbearing. After the death sword was unsheathed, there were no sub-swords dancing in the air. But the thick sword concept and killing chi caused people to be unable to breathe. You're looking down on me too much. You filthy ant. Evil Lord Tanlang was enraged. Both of his hands moved in the air, and a circle of profound evil seals revolved around his claws. Then he attacked Su Yun. The evil seals flew over, transforming into many sinister and terrifying human heads that bit toward Su Yun. Su Yun raised a sword and slashed, but when the sword tips slashed out, it actually pierced through the human heads and was unable to hit them. His eyes congealed, and he anxiously dodged. The human heads smashed onto a large boulder behind him and actually melted the boulder and the ground behind it into a pool of blood. Ha, those are just scraps. This time, you'll have nowhere to hide. Evil Lord Tanlang laughed out loud. Both of his palms waved again. This time, even more evil seals appeared, covering the sky and earth, densely packed together. With this move, Su Yun would not even have the chance to dodge. Absolute crown, Su Yun exclaimed softly. The evil seal on his forehead suddenly flickered. Following that, a circle of pitch-black evil chi surged out, completely enveloping him, transforming him into a cocoon. Seeing that, Evil Lord Tanlang frowned and sent the evil seal over. Dong! All the evil seal human heads that could melt the earth struck the pitch-black cocoon, but were unable to damage it at all. This is the power of the divine crown. Evil Lord Tanlang was enlightened, and then his face turned sinister. This is supposed to be mine, he bellowed. Leaping forward, he released 9 by 981 palms, all of them thick and terrifying. The pitch-black cocoon was struck by the evil palms, and the entire cluster cloud mountain sunk in. Fallen Leaves Sword Technique. Taking advantage of Evil Lord Tanlang's palms, Su Yun suddenly released the cocoon that was wrapped around him. Holding onto the death sword, a large amount of evil chi flew out, enveloping Evil Lord Tanlang. Such a low-grade sword technique, and you dare to display your slight skill in front of me. Seeking death. Evil Lord Tanlang pointed his finger, and a black light shot toward Su Yun. Wherever the black light passed, there would be a series of explosions. Then, Su Yun's eyes flashed with an evil aura. Facing the attack, he did not dodge and brandished his sword technique to kill. Dong! The black light struck his body, but he did not feel anything. He immediately got close to Evil Lord Tanlang, releasing his evil chi, threads of chi revolving around him. Shit! Evil Lord Tanlang's face changed, and he anxiously retreated. Although the technique was strong, Evil Lord Tanlang had released it in the air and had a huge flaw. He initially thought that Su Yun would just blindly defend, but he did not expect that Su Yun would catch on his flaw and use the technique to kill. So, a large amount of chi pierced through Evil Lord Tanlang's body. Following that, a pitch-black sword followed the trajectory and spun crazily. Ah! Evil Lord Tanlang screamed out frantically Using some unknown technique, he retreated with all his might, but his speed was slower by half a beat. Storm Sword Technique. Shio, 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 shio. The death sword swept up an endless amount of evil chi. It was like a gigantic evil dragon piercing through evil Lord Tanlang's body. Although he dodged, he was not in time, and a large hole appeared on his waist. Evil blood splattered all over the ground, and he looked battered and exhausted. Evil Lord Tanlang anxiously retreated, his evil eyes filled with madness and viciousness, staring at Su Yun fiercely. No one can force me to such a state. He endured the pain in his body and shouted while clenching his teeth. Su Yun stopped in his tracks. Waving his hand, he grabbed onto the death sword that flew back to him. The sword tip pointed downwards, and he walked towards evil Lord Tanlang. Every step was filled with killing intent. On this day, the two of them would not rest until one of them died. Good, good. The game ends here. I should use my true abilities. Evil Lord Tan Lang gasped for breath, his voice sinister. His body suddenly fell to the ground, both his hands supporting himself on the ground. Evil chi leaking from his entire body, his entire being transforming. A wolf. The wolf's howl resonated between the heaven and earth. Following that, evil Lord Tan Lang's entire body transformed into the size of a small mountain. Evil chi enveloping his body, and when the evil chi dissipated, a gigantic Tan Lang appeared. Tan Lang's body was strong and sturdy. His entire body was covered in sharp fur. His evil eyes were red, and the chi around his body was astonishing. The aura of the wolf rippled out. All the living beings in Cluster Cloud Mountain hugged their heads and crawled on the ground, trembling in fear. Humph! Su Yun's eyes darkened. He ignored the aura of the wolf and directly rushed forward, his sword slashing forward. Ha 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 ha! The gigantic Tan Lang released an ear-piercing laughter. Following that, the gigantic wolf claws were so fast that one could not even see its shadow, and in a moment, it covered Su Yun's head. Su Yun's finger flashed with a black light. Clang dang! His entire body was smashed into pieces. Ah! Chung Xie, who was at the side, saw it, and was instantly dumbstruck. Dead. Chapter 2:12. Seeing the broken pieces falling to the ground, Chung Xie was dumbfounded. Even Tan Lang was taken aback. He died just like that? Just now. They could not even kill a person. How could he be defeated by this move? And why was there no smell of blood at all? Tan Lang retreated a few steps. He knew that Su Yun would not be killed so easily. Just then, a weird sound came out. The broken pieces quickly melted, becoming liquid, and with Tan Lang as the center, it quickly spread, surrounding him, then rising, transforming into a gigantic, transparent wall. Not good! Tan Lang roared, his gigantic body rushing forward, crashing into the transparent wall. Bang! 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 Again and again. The shocking sound was like a landslide, but no matter how much power he used, he could not move the wall. Just then, the top of the wall opened up, and streams of chi flowed in. Tan Lang anxiously jumped up, wanting to leave the wall, but in the next moment, countless of gigantic light arrows fell from the sky, like a waterfall, densely packed and falling down. Tan Lang was shocked. He immediately stabilized his body, and with a howl, the evil chi around his body quickly rose above his head, transforming into a gigantic evil shield. Dong! 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 The evil arrows fell, smashing onto the shield, releasing a thunderous sound. The shield exploded with a large amount of ripples. The entire Cluster Cloud Mountain shook crazily, as though it was going to be destroyed by the arrows in the next second. Kacha finally, the evil shield could not take it anymore, and completely shattered. The light arrows pierced into Tan Lang's gigantic body. In a few breaths of time, Tan Lang's entire body was pierced through. The densely packed arrow holes were enough to make anyone's scalp go numb, evil blood gushing out from his body. Hua! The last light arrow fell from the sky, crashing onto Tan Lang's broken body. The powerful destructive force shattered the chi wall, scattering in all directions. The halo disappeared, and Su Yun, who was dressed in a pitch-black robe, opened his evil eyes. Holding onto the death sword, he stood on Tan Lang's body. Looking at evil Lord Tan Lang, whose entire body was covered in evil spirit chi and was on the verge of death, Su Yun's eyes suddenly revealed a sense of carefreeness. He raised the death sword, prepared to stab down and finish off the strong being. "Wait, wait," Tan Lang shouted with his last breath. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me. If you don't kill me, I can give you anything you want. What do you give me?" Su Yun suspended the sword in the air, the tip of the sword aimed at his huge head. "Whatever you want, I can give you. Other than my life, you can ask for anything." Puchi. Without waiting for Tan Lang to finish speaking, the death sword suddenly descended and fiercely pierced Tan Lang's huge head. Cheng Xie, who was at the side, was stunned. He had originally thought that Su Yun would let greed finish speaking, but he did not expect that Su Yun would not even listen, and took advantage of his unpreparedness to attack. In fact, it was not that Su Yun did not want to listen, but he did not dare to. From Cheng Xie and the evil Emperor Xian Wu's mouth, he knew that evil Lord Tan Lang was a cautious and cunning person. If he said that, he definitely had a backup plan. Thus, Su Yun would rather kill him than listen to his words. It was better to be safe than sorry. The death sword stabbed in, the sword body releasing a large amount of evil chi, like many needles sucking into Tan Lang, evil lord's head, frantically absorbing Tan Lang, evil lord's strength. "No, no, Aunt, I swear I will kill you." Tan Lang, evil lord's entire body trembled, all the hairs on his body standing up. He screamed miserably. A large number of spirits leaked out from Tan Lang, evil lord's body, all of them opening up their sinister spirit claws to grab him. All of these were the almighty being's spirits that were devoured by Tan Lang, evil lord. But currently, they had become a part of Tan Lang, evil lord. Su Yun looked at the spirits and pulled out the death sword. The death sword was like an endless abyss, swallowing all of the spirits, and then continued to stab into Tan Lang, evil lord's head, allowing the death sword to frantically absorb. Chi! Chi! When the death sword was absorbing, waves of strange sounds came out from the sword body. The strange primal sword seemed to be celebrating and shouting, as though absorbing the energy made it feel an unprecedented joy. The sword was excited, unless it liked to absorb the energy of the evil realm people. Since it's like that, absorb. Drink. Take it all. Su Yun held onto the death sword tightly and muttered softly. Tan Lang, evil lord, was not completely dead. He was using the last of his strength to force the death sword out from his head, but his current strength was not enough to fight against the death sword. The death sword released an ominous aura, and Su Yun used his powerful, profound spirit chi to suppress the death sword, allowing it to absorb more. Wu, finally, with a wail, evil Lord Tan Lang no longer moved. His gigantic body was dispirited, his skin sticking to his bones, his flesh disappearing, the evil chi surrounding his body disappearing without a trace. A spirit star realm cultivator had fallen just like that. Cheng Xie looked on, as though he was still in a dream. And Su Yun was even more so. He actually killed a spirit star realm cultivator? He breathed in deeply and regained his senses with great difficulty. Raising both of his hands, he looked at the gray halo in his palms, only to see the halo slowly floating up, rising into the sky and disappearing. The last of evil Emperor Xian Wu's power dissipated into the sky, announcing the death of another spirit star realm cultivator. The entire cluster cloud mountain was filled with mournful wails. This was the natural reaction after a powerful cultivator had fallen. Countless of living beings silently shed tears, crying uncontrollably. Su Yun looked at the death sword that had sunk down once again. The surface of the death sword did not have any halo, and knew that it had once again entered a state. Pulling it out, he kept it back into the sword sheath. Tan Lang, evil lord strength, was much stronger than Li Chong Tian's. The absorption was enough for the death sword's might to increase once again. He placed the death sword on his back and jumped down from Tan Lang, evil lord's body, and walked towards Cheng Xie. The ground was shattered. The ripples in the air had not calmed down. as though the storm had just passed. "Thank you." Chung Xie raised his dim eyes and spoke to Su Yun with a hoarse voice. "No need to thank me. This is just to thank Senior Evil Emperor Xian Wu." Su Yun said, "I did not misjudge you, my master too." Su Yun was silent for a moment, then asked, "How are you?" "I'm fine." Chung Xie stood up and revealed an ugly smile. Su Yun nodded and ran to search for Tan Lang, Evil Lord's treasures, but was disappointed to find that his treasures were all in his own special space. Once he died, all the treasures would disappear. Not being able to get the treasures, he could accept it, and looked around, then said to Chung Xie, "I am preparing to go to the Evil Sword sect, and ask them to let me go through the void exit and leave the evil realm. What about you? Are you coming with me?" "No need." Chung Xie shook his head and looked at the ground sadly. "Everything is no longer here. My master is not here, the guards are not here, the shrine of evil spirits is only left with me. Where else do I want to go? I want to stay in Cluster Cloud Mountain and guard the place where my master crossed the heavens. That is enough." Saying that, Chung Xie's mouth revealed a bitter smile. "All these years, reviving my master, revitalizing the shrine of evil spirits has been on my shoulders. It is too heavy. Maybe I should calm down a little, right? Calm down a little." Everyone had passed away, and he was the only one left to live till now. It was all because of the faith in his heart. Now that his faith was gone, his heart was like a mirror, without fear, no thoughts, no desires, no hope. Su Yin understood. Staying here was Chung Xie's best choice. He nodded, took a deep breath, and expressed his understanding. "Then I'll go. And goodbye. If there's a chance, maybe you can come here to see me." Chung Xie smiled. "If I'm still here." Su Yin turned his head and walked away. After a few steps, he suddenly stopped and looked at Chung Xie. "All right, you said something wrong." "What?" Chung Xie's face revealed a look of shock. Su Yin extended his fist out and lightly patted his own chest. "You're not the only one left in the shrine of evil spirits. There's another one here." Su Yin revealed a rare smile, and with that, he turned and left. Chung Xie stared blankly at the gradually disappearing figure, and his ugly black face revealed a smile. "This person, after receiving my master's inheritance, I wonder if his name will spread throughout the evil realm in the future." A vast white mist floated above the majestic immortal sword mountain. Rows of people dressed in Blade Master clothes landed on the immortal sword sect's sword grounds, concentrating on training the imperial sword technique of the immortal sword sect, only to see the sky filled with flying swords. The scene was spectacular. Ever since the Limitless Sword Lord's imperial sword technique was revealed, the reputation of the immortal sword sect was immediately challenged. The immortal sword sect trained in the sword, and the imperial sword technique spread for millions of miles. Then, the Limitless Sword Lord brought out his even more exquisite imperial sword technique and suppressed everyone, and even killed the great clan elder of the immortal sword sect, Shun Hong, causing an uproar. People no longer thought that the immortal sword sect's imperial sword technique was number one. At least, above them was the Limitless Sword Lord. Many disciples left the immortal sword sect because of this. There was no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. People would forever yearn for the peak mystical techniques and not the inferior ones. The immortal sword sect was in a crisis day by day, and the clan elders were having a headache. Then, just as the immortal sword sect was in a predicament and the prestige of the sect was being challenged, the immortal sword sect leader finally came out. He brought out a set of pure and profound imperial sword technique, and it was widely accepted by the disciples and clan elders. With this set of imperial sword technique, the immortal sword sect's imperial sword technique was no longer limited to imperial sword flight, but it could truly be used to kill people. People did not know if the imperial sword technique used chi to control the sword, but they knew that the immortal sword sect's swords finally did not need to carry people to soar in the sky. Just that they could only control one flying sword, and it was extremely strenuous. This set of imperial sword technique was personally enlightened by the immortal sword sect leader, and it was extremely difficult for ordinary disciples to learn it. Only the clan elders were able to grasp it and could temporarily control it to kill enemies. Although they could not compare to Limitless Sword Lord, but at least they managed to save some face for the sect. At least they told the world that the Imperial Sword technique was not unique to Limitless Sword Lord. Clan Elder Feng Jian. Clan Elder Feng Jian. Just then, an outer sect disciple dressed in green anxiously ran into the sword grounds and ran towards the fourth clan Elder Feng Jian, who was sitting on a chair supervising the disciples. Ever since the big battle at Blossom Heart Valley, Feng Jian was heavily injured and his strength had dropped by quite a bit, leaving behind a lingering illness. Recently, he could only stay in the sect to recuperate and was alone in the sword grounds, supervising the disciples' training. "Why are you so flustered?" Feng Jian, whose face was slightly pale, asked in a loud voice. "Outside, there are 2 people outside. Just 2 people can make you so flustered." Feng Jian frowned. "Who are they?" "Shan Riverless people." The disciple's voice was trembling. "What?" Feng Jian suddenly stood up, a look of astonishment flashing past his eyes. "The people on the Shan River list are all exceptional geniuses. Why are they here?" He thought for a while, then waved his hand and said softly, "Get Yin Shan, Wang Hao, and Zhang Kai Feng to come over and follow me to receive them." "Yes." The disciple immediately cupped his fists. "Oh right, other than that, quickly inform second clan Elder Tang Tian about this." "Yes." With that, the disciple turned and ran off. Feng Jian's eyes congealed. After thinking for a while, he stood up and shouted to the disciples, "All of you continue training, don't be lazy." With that said, he walked towards the main hall. Chapter 213. The Mountain River List. This list recorded the 20 most talented people in the history of Sky Marshall Continent. The people on the list did not cultivate for more than 30 years, but all of them were talented and had astonishing cultivation. To be recorded by the Mountain River List, they were definitely geniuses among geniuses, and at the same time, they were outstanding among the strong. The Mountain River List would be updated once every 10 years and would be recorded by professionals, and then there would be a public meeting. The people on the list would participate in the meeting, and the rankings would be determined by the meeting. Of course, the Mountain River List was not extremely accurate, and there were a few geniuses who were pure and focused on cultivation who would not participate in the meeting, but the majority of them would participate in the competition, since the Mountain River List gave them endless benefits. And there were even more geniuses who intentionally joined the Mountain River List with the goal of attracting people to challenge them. And to some battle maniacs, it was an extremely loud and clear advertisement. When Feng Jian, led by Yin Shan, Zhang Kai Feng, and Wang Hao, the 3 most talented disciples of the Immortal Sword sect, into the main hall, there was a white-robed, white-haired old man and a purple-robed man, who were already seated there. The old man had chicken skin and crane hair. He had the demeanor of an immortal, his eyes were full of spirit, and he looked wise and far-sighted. But he was standing beside the purple-robed man. With his head lowered, he looked humble. The man had a smile on his face, his eyebrows like swords and eyes like stars. He was handsome and elegant. Beside him was a clear and glossy green sword. The sword was not sheathed, the sword body releasing waves of green light, looking extremely extraordinary. One old man, one young master, the 2 of them, gave off a strange aura like that of a mountain. Seeing that Feng Jian and the rest had entered the main hall, but the 2 of them did not even look at them, the crafty Wang Hao was immediately angered. He rolled his eyes and shouted loudly, "Elder Feng has arrived." His voice drew the gazes of the 2 people on the other side over. The man who was drinking tea calmly placed the cup down, stood up, and cupped his fist towards Feng Jian. "Elder Feng Jian, it's an honor to meet you." His voice was neither light nor heavy, neither thick nor light. So rude to actually use such a tone and attitude towards a clan elder. Zhang Kai Feng and Wang Hao, who were behind, were enraged. Only Bai Yin Shan's eyes were blazing with passion, staring at the man with a dense fighting intent. Feng Jian was not angry because of that. Sensing the change in the 3 disciples beside him, Feng Jian sighed and said softly, "Don't be angry to be able to enter the mountain river list. All of you are proud sons and daughters of the heavens. It is normal for you to be arrogant. If you are not convinced, then you must train hard in the future and ascend the mountain river list as soon as possible. You must know, in the history of my immortal sword sect, no one has ever made it onto the list. There will be soon." Wang Hao clenched his fists and said with a face full of unwillingness. Feng Jian nodded and did not say anything else. He turned to look at the man. "May I know who you are?" The man smiled and sat down on the chair, saying, "I am Lin Tianyin." Lin Tianyin? Feng Jian was well known. After thinking for a while, his face changed. "The Lin Tianyin who is ranked 19th on the mountain river list? That's me," the man said with a smile. "TSK. So he's the last one." Wang Hao, who was at the side, muttered. His voice was neither loud nor soft, but it was just enough for everyone to hear. "Audacious." The white-haired old man behind Lin Tianyin's face darkened and bellowed. "How can you insult young Master Tianyin? Hurry up and apologize." "What insult? Did I say anything wrong?" Wang Hao crossed his arms in front of his chest, looking as if he did not care. There are a total of 20 people on the mountain river list, and he is ranked 19th. If he is not the last one, then what is he? Then, can you even be the last one? All of a sudden, Lin Tianyin opened his mouth and muttered, Wang Hao was just about to reply, but he felt that something was wrong and immediately stopped talking. Zhang Kai-feng, who was at the side, heaved a sigh of relief and thought, luckily Wang Hao was not stupid. If not, he would have lost a lot of face. Knowing that Lin Tianyin was not simple, Feng Jian did not dare to beat around the bush and went straight to the point. "Don't say such useless things. I wonder why young Master Lin has come to my immortal sword sect today. If you're here to visit, I can arrange for Kai-feng to bring you around. The sect leader has comprehended the imperial sword killing technique, and its power is astonishing. Recently, there are countless of people who have come." "Oh, imperial sword killing technique." Lin Tianyin did not reveal much interest and laughed indifferently. "Although I use a sword, I am not interested in the imperial sword killing technique. From what I see in the world of martial arts, speed is the only thing that cannot be broken. Only when you are fast to the extreme, so fast that your opponent is unable to see how you unleash your sword, is that the strongest." With that said, even Feng Jian, who was usually calm and indifferent, could not help but feel annoyed. To talk about fast sword in front of him wasn't that openly provoking him. Everyone in the Julian district knew that immortal sword sect's Feng Jian sword was as swift as a whirlwind, so fast that it left no shadow. Unfortunately, although Lin Tianyin was a genius of the Mountain River list, he was still his junior. If he were to spar with him, regardless of victory or defeat, he would lose face. He calmed himself down and asked, "Then why is young Master Lin here today exactly?" "It is not a big matter," Lin Tianyin said indifferently. "I am just here to challenge you." "Challenge?" With that said, Feng Jian and the rest's faces immediately changed. Lin Tianyin took out a silver lotus flower from a storage ring on his finger that was glowing with a green light and placed it on the table. Once the lotus flower appeared, it was dazzling and bright. It was extremely beautiful, and it was overflowing with a large amount of strange qi, causing people's souls to sway and their souls to be unable to calm down. Treasure. That was the first word that appeared in Feng Jian by Yin Shan and the rest's minds. This is an ancestral treasure, a human-level yang treasure. It is called the Lotus Realm and is a small world. Cultivating inside will allow one to obtain a 3 times increase in talent, allowing one's cultivation to soar by leaps and bounds, and their cultivation to soar. It has always been something that I have used to cultivate. Today, I will place it right here," Lin Tianyin said carefreely. Hearing that, the eyes of the 3 geniuses immediately lit up with passion. Increasing talent, to them, was a priceless treasure. "What do you want to do?" Feng Jian shifted his gaze away from the Lotus Realm and asked. "Very simple." Lin Tianyin once again placed his hand into the storage ring and then took out a glossy cultivation paper and threw it on the floor. "After I entered Julian district, I challenged all the sects and clans, and all those who accepted my challenge have signed a contract with me. Challenge letter? Yes, if you win me, this Lotus Realm will be yours. If you lose, you just have to sign this contract and promise to do one thing for me unconditionally. Lin Tian laughed. With that said, everyone's heart sank. Looking at the glossy cultivation paper on the floor, everyone's heart congealed. If what Lin Tian said was true, then the majority of the young geniuses in the Julian district would have been swept clean by him. Now, you want to challenge our Immortal Sword sect? Feng Jian asked. If that's the case, then there's no need. My Immortal Sword sect is not a coward, but we know our limits. Looking at your chi, I'm afraid you're already close to the Spirit Soul Disciple realm, or maybe even at the Spirit Soul Disciple realm. With just 30 years of training, you're able to leap into the Spirit Soul Disciple realm. None of the disciples of my sect have reached your level of cultivation. So regarding the challenge, let's just forget about it. If that's the case, isn't your Immortal Sword sect too weak? Lin Tian looked behind him and laughed. Elder Feng, the three geniuses behind you, are they just decorations? They are not your opponents. Feng Jian said indifferently. Elder, you can't say that. Wang Hao and Zhang Kai Feng were a little unhappy. Wang Hao was the first to complain. Although his cultivation base is very high, in a fight, it's not about cultivation base, but strength. If we don't fight, how can we know who is stronger and who is weaker between us? Shut up, Feng Jian said solemnly. Don't let your emotions affect your decisions. This matter concerns the reputation of the sect. You can't act recklessly. Ha! Elder Feng Jian is too serious. It is just a simple spar, and this spar is just to increase the stakes. It has nothing to do with our reputation. You are too serious. Lin Tian laughed out loud, his words full of carefreeness. But Feng Jian's handsome face was still solemn. Seeing that no one made a sound, Lin Tian could not help but shake his head. His gaze landed on Bai Yin Shan, who had been silent the entire time, and said, This beautiful lady who is as beautiful as a goddess should be the famous crazy lady Bai Yin Shan, right? I have long heard of your name. Ever since I entered the Julian district, I have heard of your great name. Crazy lady? Bai Yin Shan was startled. It is rumored that your pursuit of martial arts has reached a crazy level, and you want to challenge any experts that are stronger than you. So the outside world calls you Crazy Lady, TSK, TSK, TSK. I wonder, compared to Valkyrie, who is crazier? Valkyrie. Bai Yin Shan's eyes lit up with a blazing flame. The one ranked 11th on the Mountain River list? Lin Tian nodded his head, stood up, and turned to leave. Since no one from the Immortal Sword sect dares to challenge, I will not disturb you. Goodbye, Sai. Out of all the sects in the Julian district, the Immortal Sword sect is the strongest, but I never thought that the strongest would be the most cowardly, Sai. You stop. Wang Hao will fight with you. Wang Hao was so angry that his face was red, and immediately shouted. Wang Hao. Feng Jian was enraged. Wang Hao replied, Clan Elder, Wang Hao is only representing himself, and has nothing to do with the sect. Please be at ease, Clan Elder. You sigh? Good. Good. At least you have some backbone. Lin Tian laughed out loud, and turned to look at Bai Yin Shan and Zhang Kai Feng, and asked, What about the two of you? Are you interested in sparring with me? Let's give it a try. Zhang Kai Feng did not reject. After all, he was sparring with an expert. But the most battle-hungry Bai Yin Shan was silent and immediately shook her head. There is no need to fight. You are very strong and should be on par with that person. I am not your opponent. That person? Lin Tian was startled. Who? He was an expert of the Mountain River list. If there was someone with similar strength as him, wouldn't that also be an expert of the Mountain River list? Bai Yin Shan's expression was indifferent, and said, Limitless is Su Yun, the existence that killed my master. If the Mountain River list includes him, I am afraid that your ranking will be one rank lower. Where is he? Lin Tian asked softly, a look of dissatisfaction in his eyes. Bai Yin Shan shook her head and did not say anything. Let's fight first, then talk. Wang Hao urged. Lin Tian looked at Bai Yin Shan, nodded his head, and turned to leave. Chapter 214. Su Yun. who was wearing a black cloak, walked on the dark path. His surroundings were flat and empty. There was not a single blade of grass growing on the ground. It was all soft and sticky mud. In front of him, there was a huge region that was glowing with green light. In the region, there were earth pillars that stood tall. Evil light blossomed, and evil chi shot up into the sky. A huge array covered the entire region and kept on spinning. There were many evil people flying in the sky with evil chi. When they neared the region, they automatically descended and walked into the region. This was the cultivation ground of Lord Yuxia. Those who entered the cultivation ground were all his subordinates and were under his protection. Of course, this was also the closest place to the evil sword sect where the evil people were active. Coming down from the cluster of clouds, Su Yun asked around and found out the location of the evil sword sect. But because his appearance was different from the evil people, even though he had the evil spirit essence and was overflowing with evil chi, it was not enough. Some of the evil people still treated him as a human and attacked him. Helpless, Su Yun could only wear the cloak and hide his identity. After rushing for close to a month, he finally reached the cultivation ground of Lord Yuxia. The evil realm was different from the Sky Martial Continent. Most of the evil people were greedy and had evil intentions. This was the nature of the evil people. Evil people like Cheng Xie and Li Chong Tian were rare. Thus, as one of the few sects in the evil realm, the evil sword sect's recruitment was extremely strict. It was not easy to visit the evil sword sect. Disregarding everything else, if Su Yun were to tell the evil sword sect that he was from the Sky Martial Continent and wanted to leave the evil realm through the void exit, he would probably be killed by the evil sword sect, and his soul would be extracted to become the evil sword spirit. The people of the evil realm hated the outside world, because in their minds, all living things were a threat. The people of the outside world and the strange races were even more so. And because they had this mentality, their thirst and desire for power surpassed the other realms. Hence, the people of the evil realm were generally stronger. He had to think of a way to sneak into the evil sword sect and wait for the opportunity to enter the void exit to return to the Sky Martial Continent. The evil chi in front is very dense. This seems to be a powerful evil array. Just as Su Yun was walking forward towards the cultivation ground of Lord Yuxia, a voice that he had not heard for a long time came out. Crisp, sweet, soft, it was Ling Qingyu who had been asleep for a long time. Qingyu, have you recovered? Su Yun was startled for a moment, then revealed a smile and asked, I'm almost recovered. Ling Qingyu's voice came out from the sword sheath. She peeked through the sword sheath and looked at the scene outside. She asked, Is this still the evil realm? Yes, I haven't found a way to leave the evil realm yet. Then follow the method I told you and gather the materials first. Then I'll help you break through the void and return. I have estimated to gather all the materials you have provided, it would take at least 3 years, and the danger level is extremely high, as I would have to travel the entire evil realm. It is extremely difficult, but I have a way to leave the evil realm easily, and want to try it first. Try this? What method is it? Ling Qingyu asked curiously. Let me keep you in suspense first. Su Yun laughed and pulled down his cloak to cover his pale face. Then, he walked toward the training grounds of Lord Yuxia. At the entrance of the training grounds, there were 2 evil beings that looked like spirit bodies standing guard. Every evil being that entered and exited the training grounds were captured in their eyes. You're a new face. When Su Yun got closer, one of the evil beings shouted at Su Yun. His voice was hoarse, like rocks rubbing against each other. I won't be in the future. Su Yun raised his head and released a large amount of evil chi to cover his face and said softly. He was already at the first stage of the spirit soul realm and was extremely powerful. The number of evil spirit essences on his body was over 10,000, and his evil spirit chi was tyrannical and strong. Upon releasing it, the 2 evil beings trembled and were stunned. The evil being was not as strong as Su Yun and did not dare to offend him. He let out a series of jia laughter and said, Master, please enter. Su Yun lowered his head, released his evil chi, and walked in. Every powerful, almighty being represented a power. They either occupied a mountain peak or occupied a cave dwelling or used treasures to refine a brand new island or mountain peak and used it as their own training grounds. When the training grounds were formed, the almighty being would recruit evil beings to protect them, to be used by them to protect the training grounds so that they could cultivate in peace. The almighty being would protect the evil beings that came to seek shelter, and these evil beings would become the almighty being's blades and swords. Both sides would win, and this was a very common pattern in the evil realm. Upon entering the training grounds, one could see many evil beings setting up a small evil array or enchantment. They were either sitting cross-legged, cultivating, or placing items that they did not need to exchange with others. It was bustling with activity. A few of the evil beings held onto evil weapons and materials and walked around the evil array, interacting with the people in the array, exchanging for items that they needed. There was no currency in the evil realm, and very few people worked. Other than the few merchants that were living under the almighty being, the rest were like beasts, hunting and devouring to cultivate. It was simple, but not simple. Suyin walked quietly among the evil beings, his gaze sweeping left and right. It had been a year since he came to the evil realm. Initially, Chang Xie would often bring him to the black evil cave dwelling, so he was not unfamiliar with the evil beings. He had his own way of communicating with them. Ever since he came down from Cluster Cloud Mountain, Su Yun had used Cheng Xiejiao's immature way of communicating with them to understand some basic information about the Evil Sword Sect. The Evil Sword Sect was not like the sects in the Sky Martial Continent. It was just a simple power, a power that the evil beings lived in the evil realm. Of course, it was different from the other almighty beings. The almighty being of the Evil Sword Sect would recruit some evil beings to groom and teach them their own evil sword techniques, so that they could become their own blades. However, the Evil Sword Sect style was much better than the other evil beings. Although the Evil Sword Sect hated outsiders, they were very united and treated the other evil beings with sincerity, unlike the majority of evil beings who always wanted to kill each other, steal their treasures, and absorb their evil chi. Su Yun was draped in a black cloak with the death sword at his waist. He walked forward, his eyes sweeping around. Finally, his gaze landed on a person who was talking to an evil being in the evil array. That person was dressed in a dark red leather armor. His skin was pitch black, his evil eyes were burning brightly. His stature was shorter, and his cultivation level was around the 6th stage of the Spirit Core Disciple. He was trying to use the separating bone grass to exchange for the absolute black flower in the other party's hands, but there was an accident. The other party was not interested in the separating bone grass. Su Yun's gaze landed on the cloth on the short, evil being's waist. The cloth was only the size of a palm, but it was shining with a gray light. In the dark evil realm, it was extremely eye-catching. On the cloth, there was a big sword word. It was the symbol of the Evil Sword Sect. The Evil Sword Sect would often bring their items to exchange for other items. It seemed like the rumors were true. Su Yun took a deep breath and walked forward. I need to exchange for the absolute black flower in your hands. I wonder what you need. Su Yun walked over and shouted at the evil being who was sitting in the evil array. The evil being's eyes were blood red. His entire body was covered with evil chi, and he looked like a ghost. He raised his head, looked at Su Yun, and then said in a gloomy voice, Sky Wolf Venom, 5-Direction Stone, Strange Green Ointment, or Black Bee Soul. Other than these, I'm not exchanging for anything else. Oh. Su Yun nodded, his eyes secretly looking at the Evil Sword Sect disciple beside him. He then took out a piece of meat from his storage ring that was suffused with blood and asked, You don't want the heart of the 6-tailed evil being? What? The evil being's eyes widened. Looking at the thing in Su Yun's hand, he could not move his eyes away. Not only Su Yun, even the evil realm people around turned to look at him. The 6-tailed evil being was a treasure of the evil realm. Although it was not strong, it was extremely rare. Every part of the 6-tailed evil being's body was an excellent ingredient for refining pills, especially its heart, which was extremely valuable. Along the way, Su Yun coincidentally met a six-tailed evil being, and after killing it, he obtained its heart. With this item, his plans were greatly reduced. Exchange. I'll exchange. The evil being shouted anxiously, as though he was afraid that if he spoke too slowly, Su Yun would change his mind. Very good. Su Yun handed the heart over and took the absolute black flower from him. When the evil sword sect disciple saw that the item he wanted was exchanged, his evil eyes flashed with a tinge of disappointment, and he turned to leave. Please wait a moment. Su Yun anxiously called out to him. What's the matter? The evil sword sect disciple asked. I want to use this absolute black flower to exchange for your bone-separating grass. I wonder if that's possible? Su Yun asked. Oh, the evil sword sect disciple was startled. He did not expect Su Yun to make such a move. Why? Are you using the heart to exchange for the absolute black flower, just to exchange for the bone-separating grass? Yes. Su Yun nodded. This. The evil sword sect disciple hesitated for a while, but still agreed. If that's the case, all right, I'll exchange with you. I'm really grateful to you. You're too kind. I should be the one thanking you. In terms of value, the bone-separating grass cannot be compared to the absolute black flower. I'm just trying my luck by using it to exchange for it. The evil sword sect disciple laughed bitterly. Su Yun did not reply and exchanged with him honestly. After obtaining the absolute black flower, the evil sword sect disciple was obviously elated. His expression was full of excitement as he held onto the absolute black flower, admiring it. All right, can I ask you a question? Su Yun casually threw the bone-separating grass into his storage ring and asked. Go ahead. The evil sword sect disciple laughed. How do I get to the evil sword sect? Su Yun went straight to the point. With that, the evil sword sect disciple was stunned. His eyes were filled with caution as he took a step back, stared at Su Yun, and asked, Why are you asking this? Is this your first time coming to the cultivation grounds of Lord Yuxie? Yes. Su Yun pretended to be confused and said, I'm the servant of the Black Evil Lord. This time, I'm following the orders of the Black Evil Lord to seek help from the evil sword sect. I just don't know how to get there. If you know, please let me know. Su Yun spoke politely, and his attitude was sincere. The evil realm person could not help but mutter. If it was him, he would not have any ill intentions towards the evil sword sect, right? After all, he was just asking for the location of the evil sword sect. Many people here knew where the evil sword sect was located. There was no need for him to specially ask him. Maybe he did not do it on purpose. It was just a coincidence. Thinking about that, the evil sword sect disciple nodded his head and revealed a sinister smile. What a coincidence. I'm from the evil sword sect. Are you really from the Black Evil Cave Mansion? Of course. Su Yun revealed a look of surprise. I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence. This is great. Can you bring me to the evil sword sect? Don't be so happy yet. Do you have any evidence to prove yourself? I did have a badge, but I lost it when I was fighting with the other evil realm people. But you don't have to worry. I'm just a first-stage spirit soul disciple. What can I do in the evil sword sect? This time, I'm just here to seek help. I won't be staying in the evil sword sect for long, Su Yun said in a serious tone. His heart was thumping wildly. If he did not have any evidence to prove his identity, it would be difficult. He hoped that the evil sword sect disciple would take into account the fact that he had exchanged items with him and lure him into the evil sword sect. Su Yun's words did not make the evil sword sect disciple make a decision immediately. He lowered his head and pondered, as though he was considering. Su Yun stared at him intently. Under the cape, his pale face was perspiring. After a long while, the evil sword sect disciple nodded his head and said, All right, I'll bring you to the evil sword sect. Chapter 215. After leaving Lord Yuxie's cultivation grounds, the evil sword sect disciple led Su Yun to the right. They crossed two huge mountains and walked on an empty plain. The evil sword sect disciple was called Hun San. He was a new evil realm person. He had only been in the evil sword sect for 4 years. He had yet to learn much of the evil sword technique. This time, to cultivate his own evil sword, he had been collecting materials to exchange for materials. Now that he had collected all the materials for the evil sword body, he was only left with the materials for the sword spirit. The people of the evil realm wanted to create treasures. In order to give the treasures more spirituality, they would usually capture some evil realm people and evil beasts. They would extract their souls and throw them into the treasures. Such methods were not allowed in the Sky Martial Continent. But in the evil realm, it was extremely common. Su Yin was already used to it and did not find it strange. Evil friend Su, what is your purpose for coming to Swords Gate? On the way, Hun Sen could not help but ask. Hearing that, Su Yin cupped his fists and bowed to Hun Sen. Then he said, to tell you the truth, I am here because my master, the Lord Heisei, has sent me to another realm to complete a mission. But my master is still in closed-door cultivation. Recently, he has a breakthrough in his cultivation. It is not convenient for him to use the void-splitting technique. So, I hope to borrow your evil sword sect. I hope to use your evil sword sect's void exit to reach the realm where I am going to complete my mission. The opening of the void exit required the activation of the evil sword sect. Su Yin could only use the void exit to lie. Void exit? You want to use my evil sword sect's void exit? Hun Sen was stunned. He quickly asked. Seeing his expression, Su Yin's heart skipped a beat. He felt something was wrong. He asked something like that. Why? Is it inconvenient for your evil sword sect? Inconvenient? There's nothing inconvenient about it. It's just that you came at the wrong time. The void exit is broken. 3 months ago, Master Xiao Wu from the evil sword sect, went to other realms to collect materials. But just as he opened the void exit and was about to leave the evil realm, the void exit exploded. Master Xiao Wu was severely injured and has yet to recover. The people from the evil sword sect immediately investigated this matter and realized that the ancient evil array that maintained the void exit had loosened. Some of the materials had already disappeared, causing the void exit to be extremely unstable. The evil sword master, had sent people to repair it through the night, but I do not know when it will be fixed. It's actually like that. Su Yin was startled. Can't we set up another void exit? Rearrange? Evil friend Su, you don't understand the void exit of my sect. Do you know why the evil realm only has a few void exits? Because the place where the void exit is set up has the existence of a crack in the interface. Only a place with a crack in the interface can be transformed into a void exit. Do you think we don't want to set up a few more? It's just that the conditions do not allow it. Only one person can enter and exit the void exit every day, and there are only a few of them in the entire evil realm. Normally speaking, the existences that are able to enter other realms are all almighty beings, and most of these people know of secret techniques that allow them to break through the void, so the people who use the void exit are just trying to save trouble. I see. Su Yin did not say anything. We're almost at the evil sword sect. Later on, I'll go and meet the teacher and discuss with him about this. If he agrees, you just have to wait patiently for the void exit to be repaired. All right, I have plenty of time for this mission. I can wait as many days as I want. Su Yin nodded. If that's the case, that's great. Although the evil sword sect and the black evil cave mansion do not have many dealings, but more or less we have met before, so I believe there won't be a problem. And since my evil friend helped me obtain the absolute black flower, I will definitely help you. Hun Sen said. As the two of them chatted, they arrived at the evil sword sect. It was a gigantic black mountain, but in front of the black mountain, there was a giant statue that looked like a pillar in the sky. The statue was headless. Its entire body was covered in armor, and in its hand was a gigantic stone sword. It looked majestic and majestic. This is the guardian of the evil sword sect, the headless heavenly evil. It is said that when the sect is under extreme threat, the headless heavenly evil will revive and get rid of anyone who threatens the sect. I don't know how strong it is, but with this deterrence, no evil person would dare to come to the evil sword sect and cause trouble. Oh, Su Yin nodded and looked at the giant. After leaping over the giant, there was a winding mountain road. Following the mountain road, they advanced. However, what was surprising was that the evil sword sect was not on the mountain, but in the middle of the mountain stream. The entire mountain spread out in a circular shape, and the evil sword sect was in the middle of the mountain. Compared to the other almighty beings, the evil sword sect was much more luxurious. In the mountain valley, there were many pitch-black pavilions and houses, and countless of evil arrays circled the walls and roofs of the buildings. According to Hun San, the evil sword sect had close to 100,000 evil people, and was the biggest power in the area. All the almighty beings had to submit to them. Hun San, who did you bring? He's not from the evil sword sect, right? When the two of them entered the evil sword sect, a few evil realm people who were chatting by the side of a building immediately turned to look at them. When they saw Su Yun in his cloak, everyone's face changed. The leader of the evil realm people, who had a stronger physique, called out. Hun San greets senior brother Li Guang, senior sister Li Xin. Hun San walked over and bowed to them, then said, "This is my evil friend Su Yun from the Pure Evil Cave Mansion. He represents the Black Evil Cave Mansion and is here to seek help from the Sword Sect." "Seek help?" Li Guang frowned. "What do you need help with?" Su Yun looked at Hun San, and Hun San nodded. Su Yun then told them what he had prepared beforehand. "That's too bad." Li Guang shook his head. "The void exit was damaged a few months ago. Now, the Sword Sect is repairing it day and night. If you want to use it, I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a while. The Sword Sect is willing to lend it to me, and I'm already very grateful. Waiting for a few days is nothing." Su Yun laughed, thinking that the people from the evil Sword Sect were rather easy to talk to. "All right then." Li Guang nodded his head and said to Hun San, "Go and inform the sect leader. If he agrees, then arrange a place for this evil friend from the Black Evil Cave Mansion to stay temporarily. When the void exit is repaired, then let him go." "Yes." Hun San cupped his fists. "Hun San will go and arrange it now." With that, he led Su Yun and left. Very quickly, Su Yun was sent to a quiet bungalow in the southwest corner of the evil sword sect. There was an evil array on the roof of the bungalow. After entering, Hun Sen activated the evil array. Waves of evil chi flowed down from the roof and nourished the evil realm people. Although Su Yun had evil chi, he did not feel good. After settling Su Yun down, Hun San went to report to the teacher. As expected, the teacher did not have any problems. He ran over to see Su Yun and left. Half a day later, Hun Sen brought the news of the void exit to the house. "Evil friend Su Yun. Evil friend Hun San, it's been hard on you. Do you have any news of the void exit?" "Yes." Hun San nodded. "I've asked the senior brothers and sisters in charge of repairing the void exit. They said it would take at least a month." "A month?" Su Yun's eyes wavered. "A month's time is neither long nor short. Why don't you stay here and wait for a while? It's easy to leave the evil sword sect, but it's not easy to enter. This time, I lured you in. If you were alone, it would not be so easy." Su Yun heard and nodded. "All right. Let's go, evil friend Su Yun. I'll bring you to a few places where you can move around. You must remember, other than these places, you cannot go anywhere else. If not, you might be accidentally injured or even killed. I hope the Black Evil Cave Mansion does not blame us." Accidentally injured or killed. Su Yun broke out in cold sweat. If this was the Sky Martial Continent, would there be such a saying? At most, he would be scolded and punished. Hun Sen led Su Yun to walk around the house. Most of the places were just places to admire the scenery. The only special place was a plaza. This was where the evil sword sect people rested. There were many evil realm people chatting here. Other than these places, there were no other places to go. Su Yun understood Hun San's way of doing things. He was afraid that it was not Hun San's original intention. It was most likely a decision from the sect leader, but it did not matter. Compared to wandering around, Su Yun was more willing to stay in the house and train. Now that the evil spirit divine essences in his body had been upgraded, the quantity was huge. He needed to speed up the training of the other spirit essences and earth spirit essences. If not, the quantity and power of the spirit essences in his body would not be balanced. His own power would be dominated by the evil spirit force. At that time, even if he used the monarch occult force, he would not be able to balance himself. After the tour ended, Hun San left. Su Yun returned to the house alone. He first went up to the roof of the house and plucked out a material from the evil array. He stopped the evil array and then sat cross-legged in the house. He activated his spirit essences. Of course, this time, he only activated the ordinary spirit essences and earth spirit essences. He did not use any of the evil spirit essences. His chi started to flow. The gentle and soothing chi flowed through every single chi channel in his body. He was very careful. He was worried that the evil realm people would notice. That would be bad. My heart is like a mirror. My chi is like smoke. Disperse all the evil chi. Defend the field. I roam the heaven and earth. My chi roamed the clouds. Just as Su Yun was activating his chi, a gentle voice came out from the sword sheath. It was Ling Qingyu. He was startled. The voice sounded like some sort of technique. He immediately followed Ling Qingyu's instructions and activated his chi. He carefully followed the instructions and controlled his chi. His chi was in a mess for a moment, but very quickly it calmed down. Then it became more orderly and clear. In that moment, Su Yun felt that the chi in his body had an undetectable sublimation. It was becoming more and more mysterious. Su Yun was enjoying the feeling. He carefully moved around. The evil spirit essences in his body were completely sealed. At that moment, he could not feel any evil spirit chi in his body. At that moment, it was as though he no longer had anything to do with evil or demons. Maintaining such a state, Su Yun operated for half a day before stopping. At that moment, his chi channels were like jade. They were emitting light auras. His mental state was unprecedentedly good. His pale white face had regained some color. Thank you. He exhaled and smiled at the sword sheath. Ling Qing, you did not say anything. She was too lazy to reply. Su Yun laughed. He did not mind. And so, this kind of life gradually began to go on. 10 days later, his chi had broken through to the next realm. Su Yun realized that he could completely rely on this set of chants to upgrade his spirit essences and earth spirit essences. He could then break through to the second stage of the spirit soul realm. Then, just as he was prepared to continue cultivating, the quiet house that had been quiet for the past 10 days suddenly erupted with noises. Quick, quick, quick! Quickly go to the plaza. Senior Brother 2 and Senior Brother G are about to spar with the evil sword. Quickly go and watch. Evil sword spar? Oh my God! The two of you are the geniuses of my evil sword sect. Why would they spar with a sword? Hurry up. Don't miss this chance. This is a once-in-100-years opportunity. The shouts were endless. They were extremely anxious. When these voices entered Su Yun's ears, he was startled. Evil sword spar? That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.